are basically just gone.
Well, Keria looked for the angle there. Another Bone Skewer is going to connect, and Kalist is extraordinarily dead. Nothing the Ashe could do. Tried to take Keria with him, but didn't have the damage. And T1 go to 4-1 now.
They're looking like they're going to be paper. This is the kind of game that KC really needs to try to slow down the pace. They have a lot of scaling.
Oh, another Bone Skewer connects there. Even the route to connect onto Kalist as Busio's just dead. Pays gets the execution one more time. The daggers aren't going to quite land, as the second one does at least. Gromp, congratulations. That does...
Something.
Yeah, that is something. I've got the silver lining.
Okay.
All right, it's a very dark cloud.
More of an iron lining in this one.
Yeah, but Keria had probably the best Pyke game I have ever seen this season. They did not win.
So it wasn't the worst possible thing to happen, but now Busio, unfortunately, he is probably going to get dove here.
Well, there's a fight going on elsewhere as well as Yike looking for Faker. He goes into the Shroud, though, and just ults away. That is going to be Pays on a killing spree. Keria surviving as well as the successful 2v1 dive in the bottom lane. From playing against Morgan to playing against Kana, it is kind of just like a reunion in the top lane as far as the T1 matchups are concerned. As Ona going to take one of the grubs. Paranoia comes through pretty defensively here as the fear is not quite going to work out too much. But now Doran just dives in, goes actually to the skies into the middle of 3 people, and then wanders away.
Ooh.
The arrow is going to sail by, and T1 now realizing that they can go back, looking for the 2-for-1 grub straight, and Yike has to get out of there. Pays looking for Kalist as well, who's just not allowed to lane if it's a 1v1. And so there we go, T1 locked down all 3.
Been able to actually create some pretty massive advantages for KC a number of times. But in this game, it is Owner getting very far ahead, and these are their individual stats in this head-to-head, which I think is going to be a very important one throughout the series.
Well, I hope that it gets more important as well. Good flash away from Kalist, who does manage to land the arrow. I believe Rebuttal was on cooldown, but the Paranoia, and Ona comes in and just puts him down. Another Bone Skewer to come on through, and obviously that one's going to hit. And Keria does go down as the response, and Yike will be able to survive, but they did at least get their target.
They're moving around knowing you just want to keep evading, you want to keep the pressure up, do not allow Yike any space to be able to recover.
Ulti comes through here as Yike does avoid a bit of the damage, but he was never winning that 1v1. Pays is able to put him down. Oh dear, that looked like a little bit of a sign of desperation as Doran going 1v3 here towards his top side. He wants in on the fun, but I have a feeling he may just be going down, turns his attention to the wave, and will be falling. So there's a little bit more back here for KC.
At this deficit, and farm and farm and farm, then you are going to have a chance in a fight.
How did that hit? That didn't look very fair. Kana is going to come through and try and defend as Keria still wanting to find an angle as he gets hit by the kitchen sink and taken down.
Okay, Keria, you're having a little too much fun, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the mini-map. No one from his team is anywhere near him.
But man, yeah, maybe he was actually reading what Busio was saying. Is there's a Paranoia towards the bottom side of the map. Ona is just going to put down Yehu. And I do want to say something about this. We did have Ona's stats come up before, like 42-8 was the win rate, but one of those losses was against Hanwha Life Esports. There's a reason why T1 are our second seed, and it's because Hanwha were able to win that best of 5, and Ona's Nocturne was just not that good. But historically, it has been a lot more like this, where he just wins. Doran going to take down Yike here as T1 just celebrate by roaming down the river and claiming even more kills. Faker even had another charge of that perfect execution to take him down. Do you call it a charge? I don't think it's really a charge, but he has a second activation. And Owner is going to grab the double dragon.
I'll give it to you.
Thanks, man.
No problem.
Appreciate
it's a charge. You got 2 charges of it.
Yeah, you do. You got one charge, does one thing. Another charge does a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Theoretically, different ability, but that's all right.
Completely different. PC members are on top side. All 5 of them. There's no one right now answering Faker in the bot lane, so they're going to try to overload and potentially make a play here.
Oh, Pays might be taken down. The rebuttal now on cooldown. The arrow is going to hit, and Yike going to get over that wall. Pays will be shut down finally as Keria trying to get rid of Kana, and this is a great play from KC. They just get that shutdown and leave of it. Wanted to go to ripping out that shield as quickly as possible as Ona with the Dustbringer. Seeing what he can do, Busio getting an encore, and it actually manages to clip Faker. Goes into the Shroud, though, to keep himself safe. And now just going to dash in, realizes that he was going to go down, tried to get whatever he could, and that, in fact, is nothing.
It's not the end of the world because T1 has been pushing everywhere, taking every objective. You know, they got that second dragon uncontested. They're going to take the Herald uncontested. They got the 3 grubs. You know, it's so everything's still looking pretty under control here, but T1 definitely want to clean it up a little bit. Yeah, KC combined have less games than Faker.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is kind of crazy.
It is ridiculous.
And that's always the scary thing, is that T1 managed to be so composed in all these games, and a lot of it really does come down to the amount of times that they've been here, the amount of times that they've been in these massive games in these big situations.
Does teleport away, not wanting to get dove.
Yep.
Keria makes his way up and just going to cross map, and they might be able to take an inner turret off the back of that in trade for probably some bounty gold as the Rift Herald is thrown down. Is this inhibitor turret?
I think it is. That's what I was going to say, is that Kalist, is up here on the top side working at the tower, but KC sent 4 members there to try to make that play. Faker was already at the tower, and they dropped the Herald, so they're going to get the tier 2 easily. They get 3 plates off that as well, and Keria is still just soaking experience on this top side, being annoying. They pushed in mid lane, now they're taking away jungle camps.
They grab
KC,
the dragon, cross-map plan to take 2 for 1 in every scenario, and that is
here.
What's happening. The unstoppable onslaught comes through. The flash over from Canna. They really want to kill Dora and try and get something off the back of this play. Shockwave, fantastic from Yahoo, using the Scion in order to get that extra range on the hula hoop.
Exactly. I mean, you're just looking to the top side jungle. Owner is taking your red buff. Faker is working on your tier 2 tower. And they're engaged.
They're also going to take Busio as well, by the looks of things, as there is the Bone Skewer to connect. Death from below is named very correctly. Keria is going to help lock down that kill. Yike taking some damage from Pays as well, but also the Dagger's doing some work here. Yike looking a little bit aggressive, but T1, they're still looking for more as Keria wanting to take down Busio, gets the stun, and that's going to set up for the reset to come on through. Owner also will just kill Yike. And it's all just started to fall apart for KC. If it hadn't fell apart already, there's Scion to make some stuff happen. But I don't know. I think it's a 9.5k gold advantage. There's a stun on Doran. The unstoppable onslaught is going to come through as well. Q going to get charged as Kalist trying to do damage to Doran, and it's just not going to work. Doran, though, going to show him how it's done as before he goes down.
He did the red buff, then went down to the blue buff, killed Yike on it, took his blue buff.
It's a
now
Flame
he's back
Horizon.
on the top side.
It's a Flame Horizon in 10 CS. In
That
the jungle.
Crazy.
At 21 minutes.
I mean, look at Kalist farm as well, right?
Yeah.
Owner is 60 CS up on the enemy AD carry.
All right, well, Yike is going to get paranoid, and I do not blame him. Will be taken out here as Canna. Yeah, not going to be able to help that situation at all. And maybe the Flame Horizon just happens now. He needs 12, like 3 camps. Just got to take 3 camps. All right, there's a beautiful rebuttal as Busio just going to get executed by Pays. Dash cannon to try and get himself a little bit further away. Good sidestep from Kalist as a flash comes through from Pays, and he is just going to walk his way out of that. That kind of felt like a 1v3 play, but he is just kind of that fed. It's the one that coined how a shellacking is supposed to work. A very quick victory under 25 minutes. This might be heading in that direction, but we'll see. There is the paranoia to come down very defensively, though, as he actually uses it to reposition. Owner gets in there. It'll be a big shutdown, and that is going to go over to Yahoo. Keria getting amongst it, though, as we can see. 1 versus 3 now, as the ulti from Pays comes on down, and that is going to lock up a kill, but Pays getting a little bit lower. Faker finally making his presence known as he tries to get over the wall, and does use the ulti to do so, but Canna blast cones himself, and will try to get this teleport out.
The kills go the way of KC. The problem is, even if you take down Owner and Keria, Pays, Faker, Doran, all very strong at this point of the game, and they're going to grab Soul for themselves here as well, as they just continue pushing in these waves.
Outside of the funnel meta, which was just that's not included.
Dark times.
It was definitely dark times, as the arrow is going to connect onto Faker. There is the unstoppable onslaught and the shockwave. That's a lot of R buttons, but I think it's required in order to make sure that they lock down this Akali and get the kill.
And look at the vision. There's no vision at all. And Busio is going to try to move forward and get some vision back, but it is so scary to actually walk in here. And Kalist, I think they may be aware of it now, but it just feels like it's way too late. It doesn't matter.
Yike will never get here in time, and so that is going to be the Baron secured. Faker, 5 seconds to go, but they're still just going to send it into that backline. The Encore is decent, but that damage onto Kalist is massive. Owner will be taken out, though, as Keria will also be secured. Yike doing a whole bunch of work here, as, oh my, never mind. Fake is going to show up. Canna looking to be taken down here as Busio trying to help out with a bit of drop in the beat, but it's not going to quite work. Yahoo here as well. Doesn't have his ultimate for the next little while, but a couple of seconds and that'll be back up again. And T1, that was a little bit of a bridge too far. Once again, talking about this Nocturne, this is the 2nd largest CS deficit at 25 minutes in international history, as Owner is going to secure a rampage for Pays. 10, 2, and 7 now on the Mel, also having a very good performance. as KC just doing their very best to try and defend. And honestly, their very best is just not going to be enough, not at this stage. As we have a look at the Coinbase gold grind, Oner is just, making good money.
Leave some gold for the other people.
Or maybe just kill the Nexus, and then you don't need to really worry about it. Oner, just prove that that you are the carry. The strategy. They heard that it's only the second largest CS deficit. All right, Yike in a lot of trouble here. FaZe looks for the ulti. That was an ambitious one. There's a paranoia. Never mind, not ambitious at all. Now they're going to look to just try and kill them all. Bone Skewer connects. That is 3 on the floor.
Whoa.
Shockwave is incredible as Keria goes down, but he's the only one to fall as the immediate revenge for T1 does come down. The former T1 player is left till last here as Canna will try and charge some Qs underneath these Nexus turrets, but this battle against Faker I don't think is one that he is going to win. Nexus turrets fall, no Elders required here for T1 as they will obliterate KC in the first game.
An incredible first game here. Great disengage against potential Qiyana. Hard engages. Qiyana, I mentioned the buff on the patch. Did get a 20% damage increase to monsters on the Q.
Yep.
So that is pretty significant. Helped to clear a fair bit as you're obviously using that quite a lot.
Isaac has warned you, okay? So do not be surprised. It's okay now. Yeah, Busio just going to get ushered out of the lane. Oner makes his way over. Busio down to 200. Make that 150. The flash forward piece has been made. His first blood is picked up.
Here comes Yike, though.
All right, let's see whether they can clean this one up. FaZe down to 100. Kalisz now in trouble, though. Headshot comes through, and Yike just puts him down. Oner is able to trade. But that makes it a 2 for 2 in the end.
It did become a 2 for 2, but Kalisz just went way too fast. Oh, he's looking for bot, but I think Oner has a read on this.
Yep, he is going to get stunned, but now Busio is in trouble. Still doesn't have the flash, remember. Peace once again, and that is another kill onto this Camille. Magical Journey is going to bring them over towards Yike, who tries to get into stealth to try and get out. Nice double stun. But guess what it means? Absolutely nothing as Peacemaker comes through yet again. Yike is still trying to skip around this jungle. Just terror shaping and things like that, but Keria has the meep slap, and down goes the Qiyana. That's 1-0-3, 100% kill contribution for the Bard out of Keria.
Teammate down in the bot lane can't be as good at his champion. 12-1?
Yeah, and FaZe hasn't been on T1 the whole time. He was just on Gen G before. As all right, Canna is now having to blow the ultimate. It's going to be able to keep him alive, though, as there is the kill onto Keria in the bottom lane. FaZe able to get the net to safety as he finds a headshot onto Kalisz as well, but it is a good dive onto the Bard. In the meantime, there is still more happening here in this top lane as Oner does make his way out, and now Canna going to take that as an invitation just to kill Doran if he can. Good body slam does come on through as FaZe is taken down, and KC finding some opportunities.
He has no explosive cast, so there's not really that risk of the wave just getting one shot and you picking up turret aggro.
Yeah, Busio making his way in, though. Hookshot is going to get the stun as Doran gets a bit of his health bar back, but Busio going to be able to withstand that one shot. The flash on in as Oner finds the Q for the kill. Flash away from Busio. No Warrior Trickster available for Oner to get over that wall as he is getting into a very aggressive position. Scatter the Weak comes down just to make sure that sphere does connect. And he just moves himself out of the way. So that is the first rate going on over. Canna now just blowing the ultimate, but the Magical Journey comes through. Cask, he's going to pull the Crocodile away from the turret, and that should be the kill. Oner picks up that one as well, moving to 3-1. And T1 finding the cross map.
Yeah, nice try there from Canna. Almost took Oner down. One more tower shot probably would have done it, but didn't quite.
But that will not save his turret, or at least maybe it will. Second plate not going to be claimed, and Faker will just be going back now.
Yep, and T1 make a play on top side. KC make a play of their own. 3 men go in towards Faker. They force out his flash. But meanwhile, T1 was taking this. They get all 3 grubs back-to-back games, so we're going to be feeling pretty good about that.
But T1 disagree. And it's been really frustrating if you're not a T1 fan and you're watching your team just cruising, having a good time, and then it doesn't quite work as Faker has found Yike, or has Yike found Faker? As True Shot Barrage going to come on through. Busio going to take that kill with the Hextech sweep, and that is the first death here for Faker in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you look no further than yesterday. They were down 59-26 gold in game 2, versus TL. Obviously able to come back, even with a compositional disadvantage, and still win that game. They were down 1,200 gold as well in game 3, able to, it's a much smaller lead, but still, from deficits, they are never out of it. Their team fighting is so good, and they have such strong playmakers on this team that are very difficult to deal with, as Keria,
I think he might just be dead. Yeah, Supreme Display of Talent does come on down here. It's the flash from Keria looking for the Cosmic Binding
on the map, but meanwhile, Busio was hunting around mid lane, and Kalist is pushing down bot lane. We'll see who gets first tower. It is going to be pretty close, and the first tower is going to go to KC.
Yeah,
and just like
solo
that,
gold
Kalist is 1.1k up.
Exactly, so gets all of the gold from those plates and gets to hang around for that first brick as well. So that is a very powerful Ezreal, moving towards 2 items very quickly if you're just playing out the game in a normal sense. So really nice pacing so far for KC, as they are going to be able to take Double Dragon as well, and it's a Mountain Solis game.
The teams with some of the largest fandoms in the entire world.
Oh, Pays going to get put into the Hextech Ultimatum. Nowhere to go and will be taken out. Busio able to take that last turret shot as well. And when you can guarantee that type of kill...
Kalist, because he wanted the tower to stay onto Busio there, but they're going to look for Yike.
Yeah, Yike does throw down the ulti, though, defensively. Ono should have another Cyclone in order to take him down, and actually gets over the wall. But Canna and Yehu turn up as well, and that is going to be the answering kill onto the jungle. And now Faker dealing with Busio here, and does have to get himself out of the way. Keria taking a little while to die, but he will indeed do that. You've got Pays going for a cross map towards the bottom side, but T1 are just falling.
22-12 versus G2, so G2 has been the most competitive there, but still obviously very heavily favored for T1. Everyone else is that 24-7 record versus the rest of the LEC here. And KC looking to put another one in the win column for their region, but it is very difficult to get across the finish line here against a team like T1. But it is KC with the gold lead, with the objective lead, have the ability here in 2 minutes to try to grab that third dragon, move towards that Mountain Soul that would be so nice for them, as they are going to be able to take a tower.
Yeah, nice charge to come on through here as the tower will be going down. Shelly should be ushered towards the inner turret as well. We'll see whether she does get another charge, as True Shot Barrage will be avoided by Faker going the same direction that he was going already.
Oh, they're trying to set a trap. Owner is actually here. They're going to look for Yehu.
Yeah, they do get out, and there is the Unleashed Power. Outplay that, he says.
The time until Dragon spawns. Kalista is going to be able to grab the red buff. He also used his barrier there. They're TPing in deep. Kanna's looking for a fast start to this fight.
Yeah, in goes Busio. Is going to lock down Faker. He's going to die for it, but look at that stun from Yike. Absolutely massive, and Canna gets into that backline. Pays going to have to try and net himself out of there, but netting a Crocodile, that is a difficult option as he flashes to catch the blast cone, and now Pays. I don't know how you're supposed to get out of this one with a full health Croc, but he's going to try his very best to do as much damage before he goes down. Canna taking that turret shot, and he will fall, but it is 2 kills going over to Yehu, this Cassiopeia.
Here they get straight in there. There's no way Owner's going to be able to steal this. Not with Busio hunting for you. I don't think you can get there in time. So that is soul point for KC. You could see the blue wall.
It's kind of the perfect soul that KC were looking for in this game. As now Yehu, speaking of looking for things, he's going to find Faker. Scatter the Weak is not going to work because he's not very weak. And there is the last Twin Fang to take him down. The Unleashed Power is pitiful at best. Down Busio here as Doran making his way in. He is unseen as he looks for the angle. Body Slam doesn't work, but there is the cast. Supreme Display and Talent onto only the tank. And they take out Kalist before anything had even happened. And it's just free hitting for Pays. Canna with a massive ultimate, but it doesn't do anything. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. T1 just win a team fight, take a Baron, and they're back in control. How annoying is it, Azael?
How do they keep doing it every damn time? T1 find a way to make the magic happen, losing all game long. We're talking about the soul, but they find the fight beside the Baron with Camille and Kiana. You got to be perfect.
Well, they're going to look for it here as Busio gets over the wall with a hook shot. The dash cannon to try and get him out of there, but that Hextech Ultimatum not really working as Canna gets into the backline, looking for Faker. The Unleashed Power, though, and he's taking so much damage. Pays, untouched, finds the auto attack as he gets over the wall, and it's a double here. Ona with the Nimbus Strike, looking for Kalist, and that Ace and Hole doesn't work because his target has already been taken down. And I just feel like T1 have made it out of the trough, and now they're just skipping to the finish line. As Faker eating some honey fruit, Pays looking a little bit worse for wear. But Yehu cannot step up. Yike, similar story as T1 look to deny the soul and get themselves back into this driving seat. 3,000 gold on the Red Bull Baron power play, and Yike, Ace in the Hole finally comes back up again. And Busio is going to get on forward. That is going to be a Gromp to go over to Yike, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do enough here. As the Dragon secured, Carrier gets on in there, gets the big old shield to come on over.
Here's TP.
And now another flank angle. Supreme Display of Talent. They're looking for Faker. They should be able to lock him down. Takes a little bit longer to get him. It's now Owner is in no man's land. That, oh my God, takes down Yike. It was suicide, but he manages to take his opposite number with him. And now Doran, he just wants to teleport out, and he will be able to do so. A little bit of a catastrophe here, but KC finding themselves an advantage in the fight once again.
He has the flash available, and you're looking for that big fight from Yehu, because in most of the actual big team fights, he hasn't really been able to get super involved. Busio looking again.
I believe Pays is dead. He's going to go golden for a few moments thanks to Carrier, but then will be shut down. That is money over to Kalist as well. They get to just set that one up, just being taken down, but he does have the last Whisper. So just went for as much flat AD as possible before the last fight, I guess, as Busio now in a little bit of trouble. Scatter the Weak is not going to connect, but the Cyclone a little bit more difficult to avoid as he does try to use the Hextech Ultimatum to deny the gameplay button.
Up to Yike, and Yehu here on the side. Can they find an angle?
Owner's Smite Button has been pretty good so far this tournament, and he also has Doran available. Supreme Display of Talent, not quite doing enough. Doran's so tanky. Yike can get in here, but it's not going to be enough. And they take the Baron in trade for their top laner.
But the problem is, now you have to fight Soul, and you just lost Doran for that. I don't think it was worth
goes in, and he finds such a beautiful angle. Slicing and Dyson does go down, but he's done so much damage as Yike has to flash away. If T1 can actually get a reset in before this Dragon, then it's possible.
The play, because Faker is in the area, he's trying to see, can I get there and make a magical steal? Cannot make it happen.
It is impossible. So that is the Mountain Soul to come through for KC. And now 6 minutes on the clock
and now
until the Elder's up. Yeah, I think Faker is probably just dead. Yeah, Hextech Ultimatum comes down. Doesn't find the Scatter the Weak onto Yehu either, as Busio is still trying to chase him down. Faker buying as much time as possible, but those Twin Fangs are unavoidable. And T1, they are just trying to deny the backs so that Pays can take an inhibitor turret. And perhaps that is going to work, as Yehu is teleported over, looking for a bit of an angle towards these two here that are just trying to buy space, trying to buy time. They've got a Blast Cone to get themselves out. And Supreme Display of Talent will get the kill onto Carrier. And Canna did make it back to deny the Caitlyn. There's a cast to get some space for Owner as well. But
come in behind Pays and try to look for a pick. But Doran, I think, is maybe hunting?
No, he's looking for the bottom lane. So he sees the red dots and does not see the Camille. As Pays going to get engaged on there, as let's see where the Carrier can find the ulti. Does manage to get Pays golden, but it's going to take some time. Does find the angle there as well. Supreme Display of Talent is fantastic, but double GAs are going to be popped here for T1. Magical Journey comes over, trying to buy their space as Canna is taken out. Kalist gets scattered here by Faker as it's a double for Doran, who doesn't seem able to lose health. Oh, Kalist taking matters into his own hands, not able to quite land that Mystic shot though, and now it's Owner making his way in. Yehu has to flash away, and Pays flashes in to secure the win for T1. Oh, this team just makes too much magic.
Busio is great, but Carrier is the greatest of all time. It shows you why. The defensive Bardoll, the portal to get Pays out after the GA, the locket to buy the time. Everything was perfectly played from Carrier to get Pays out of there and get T1 their second win.
And match point in this series as well. The unleashed power to come through. I think Busio deserves that, as he has been absolutely amazing in this game. Unfortunately, it was not enough, as Yike, he's going to get scattered. He's going to get taken out, and it's going to be the Nexus turrets falling. But this game, nothing like what we saw in game one, as KC, they really made him work for it.
You get so much move speed from Hyper, from from obviously having the upgraded boots, and if you're even thinking you need more, you can go Fleet, and then you have all of these move speed increases to be able to actually dodge the morning.
Yes, dodge E.
To dodge the E. Look at the buy for Kalist, by the way. It's a refillable, and that is just horrible. It is a bit of a horror. It has been a tough day in the 2v2 for them in general, and Oner is now down here with no flash on Varus.
Yeah, Yike is here as well, though, going for a little bit of a defensive play. There's the flash flag and drag, but the Xin Zhao is there to meet them. Callisto just getting taken down. It's going to be first blood over to Oner. Yike trying to make sure that they can at least get one back, but he is dead as well. Busio running for the hills, and it's a 2-for-1 for T1.
That's really well done by T1. Nations that you always love to watch when you're watching the best players in the world, right? They just have so much thought.
Oh dear, Busio is just dead. In the meantime, Pay's in a little bit of trouble, but obviously Faker is here, and he's looking to try and lock down the kill onto Kalist. He'll get there, 100 health on Pays. That is just enough to keep him pushing this lane, and T1 close to a 2,000 gold lead at 4 minutes.
Area.
Yeah.
And this bot lane cannot breathe.
Yeah, clears the ward, but now you've got the Jarvan moving down. They know exactly where Yike is. He knows that he's seen, as Doran taking a lot of damage here as well. There's the Ghoulie wall down, and Kana should be able to get this solo kill, but the Q comes in, finds the boulder, and will be able to get rid of the Yorick. In the meantime, Faker very close to death as well, but that solo kill from Kana might be a bit of hope back for KC.
You very quickly get to, what do I do in this game? Like, what is my point?
And Gnar is very good in side lanes, but also a fantastic team fighter as well. We know that Doran can make things work in team fights on a lot of champions. His team fight Olaf, for example, some of the best that we've ever seen. Yorick is a difficult one to make work, but if there's anyone that can do it, it's probably Doran. You haven't actually reached for it, though, so I don't know why I'm being mean.
No.
Let's have a look at this little fight towards the top side, though, as the Gnar back is beautiful onto Doran. He does have some ghoulies here, but he is just going to be dropped down, and that is beautiful play from KC. I think playing towards your winning lane is a great way out of this initial slump that they have had.
Who's here?
In the meantime, exactly right. If you start that fight, you're going to have to make sure you finish it quickly, otherwise T1 will rotate over. But Oner is going to be taking a lot of damage here. There's a Cataclysm. He finds a flag and drag towards Kalist, but he has a brilliant barrier to keep him alive. But T1 also absolutely fine. Yehu in this mid lane doing a lot of damage to Faker and holding him in the lane. That is the main thing. As a teleport behind is looking to try and finish this one off. Yeah, gets himself out of there as Yike just gets destroyed by FaZe. Gets over the wall, picks up the double encounter. Can he protect this? 1 versus 3. His health bar is massive. We're looking at Faker going down potentially here in this mid lane, but T1, they get away. Not to mention the fact that this is the Lucian, right? You have to be playing like this, right on the edge, in order to eke out the amount of damage to get value out of this champion. Pays has been devastating on this pick before, and he is demonstrating that right here at MSI. Feels like one of his best tournaments that he has had. Everyone remembers.
One is down there answering Pays, so he is going to be able to grab that first tower. They're already up 2K here. And congratulations to Oner, who has now moved to third all-time on that wins list here.
It's like wanting to get older than your older brother. It just doesn't ever really work. As all right, Oner is going to be able to take down this Drake. That is going to be the second one locked in, and it's a Hextech Soul this game as well. A scary one for KC to be staring down the barrel of, but they are not going to react to it. They are just going to kill Doran again. That's going to be their plan, as Doran does find a bit of health back with that Q, and actually it's taking a while to kill him. Kana will be able to do it, but it does take a little bit of time. 3-0 here. Like, all of the eggs are in the Gnar basket.
They absolutely are, and it is a good basket to have. It is the ultimate comfort champ here for Kana. We'll see if he can get something done in this game. Busio just playing towards that lane, gets up towards the top side, does get them a kill, but
Yahoo moving on down here. There are a lot of plates up and available. Doran takes more than half of his health bar from a bear drop, but now T1 looking for a fight on the opposite side. The culling just thrown into Busio and Kalist, and Busio looks to be the target here. This Doran is dead once again, but is the cross-map play available for T1? And Oner says absolutely it is. Fire kick going to connect, and Kalist just needs another double tap as a Light Slinger who will be able to take down the Varus. So 1-for-1 across the map here as Doran moves to 0-4, but that's a 3-0 for Pays.
Yeah, and Pays is the one getting all the gold. He is so strong. They're going to look for Oner, though.
Yeah, and they will find him. Oner doesn't have a lot of friends in the area, and he knows that he's dead, so a weird position for the Jarvan to be.
And with the Breath of Life, he has the barrier, he has the cleanse, and he has Doran and Oner and Faker who are there to basically just keep him safe.
Yeah, and Yike taking so much damage. He flashes in to get the knock-up onto Pays, but he gets himself out. He's got the ulti from Keria to keep him alive as Yike goes in, but Doran just being that front line. The knock comes back though as Kana turns up. Faker on the flank angle is able to take down the jungler as the Pop Blossom only picks up Oner, and Oner doesn't really care about that. the dash forward from FaZe, and they will be able to lock down that kill. On the opposite side, though, I mean, it is a 2-for-2 trade. And Doran, he's got teleport, but he is just moving towards that top side, getting the Maiden to work on the inner turret potentially. And it looks like T1 will sacrifice this Drake. And the power of the double dragon for T1 is very, very strong. Because now they can use it to get control of this mid lane. They've also got the Yorick moving towards the top side. So a Drake sacrifice for so much more on T1's side.
For basically 2 full towers is what they're going to get here. And they're actually looking for a charge on the third one as well. FaZe is going to drive this in, which always makes me a little bit nervous, but the engagement numbers aren't around.
Oh, they're not able to actually get the charge, and FaZe is in a very uncomfortable position.
They're going to be warding everything out, and they're going to be playing around, keeping FaZe safe here. So FaZe needs to play well, but we're expecting him to do it.
Well, Busio finds the pop, well, almost finds the Pop Blossom, and now the Realm Warp just to try and get themselves into the fight. That is a brilliant start for KC, though, as Owner is just dead immediately. Faker follows suit, and T1 bit off more than they could chew. The flash, and down goes FaZe, massive shutdown, and of course that money goes to the now legendary Canna.
Yeah, that's a 1K going to Canna there, as they're going to go straight to the Baron, and they're going to get the Baron here for free. This is crazy. The Realm Warp there was suicidal from Faker.
It was.
They take the Realm Warp in, but Yahoo has all his abilities. You're Realm Warping into the anti-stun. You still have to pay some respect to the damage that they can do. Yeah, you had killed him, but it was just Busio. Everyone else had everything available there.
And it was
Faker and Owner just going to die.
Yeah, and Yike with the Crescent Guard as well. They like Realm Warp in, and then immediately they're just thrown around like ragdolls. This Rebel Baron power play can be used to get themselves a second Hextech Dragon as well. And having a look here, this is KC on that comeback. Yeah, Canna versus FaZe looks to be a bit of a 1v1 battle, but Carrier is there to support. As now Yahoo is going to find Faker as well. Canna is just going to be taken down though, and FaZe returns the favor and picks up the shutdown money himself. Faker is going to be able to get himself out of there, bring some minions with him, and he might even be able to eat some honey fruit.
That's just bad news if you are a KC fan.
It doesn't feel very good. The good news is that it's not actually sold because they were able to deny the last one. It's a team fighting themselves. It's only 1,000 gold to lead to try and keep this inner turret alive.
That was actually pretty critical that Yike had the Krugs there because he was able to just dash out of the Cataclysm to the Krugs. Had they not been there, I think the vision that Owner had is he Cataclysms in by the tower, Faker one-shots the minions, he takes aggro, has to flash out, has to do something.
Yeah.
But instead, able to get out of there, no problem.
I've seen this play before as Pace just goes into melee range with a Mini-Gnar, and he's happy to do so. Chases him down relentlessly. That one on the mind as they are T1. They always think about Baron. That is the thing. And Yike actually just going to get dashed on by FaZe. The Crescent Guard comes in as they look to try and use Owner to peel, and down he will go to the GA. Yeah, who is just dead in an instant. You were mentioning the DPS on the culling, and my God, T1 are just going to mow them down. The Narn to 4 from the grave. That one was a little bit too late for Canna.
That's
and
it.
Speaking of too late, it's too late for KC in this series. I think this one's over.
It's absolutely over. A 5-for-0 clean ace, 27 minutes in. T1, make no mistake about it.
10-1-7 on FaZe. This Lucian absolutely dominating in this game number 3, and T1 will move forward here in the play-ins and remain undefeated. Ooh, the Vayne. I think maybe Canna might be looking for a Crocodile.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
See what Doran has as far as an answer, or he could just take the Renekton himself.
Yep, definitely can. And I mean, it's not like you can't just play, you know, Doran can play a tank if he wants. You know, he is very comfortable in all kinds of matchups. He can play weak side, he can play carry versus carry. But he is really more known for his team fighting. You know, when I think about Doran, I think about his greatest moments. It's things like his Gragas, you know, being able to actually take over in a team fight, being able to make those big moments for the team. And it's going to be Syndra from Faker. Really cool, because I know a lot of people do not feel comfortable in a lot of matchups against Cassio, so going to be able to take a little bit of a longer range approach. And it's also pretty nice for setting up, you know, alongside the Caitlyn. You have low committal engage now with the Scatter of the Week. So you can set up a trap line as people are walking in. You could be fishing with scatters, fishing with poke, fishing with Bard ults. You know, if you hit any of that, now all of a sudden you have a tremendous amount of damage and follow-up coming through. And Qiyana has been getting some pretty good buffs on this patch. So
I like how Busio can't hover Vayne anymore, so he hovers Space Vayne instead. I love that. The Renekton seemed like something that we were going to see. That will be locked in for Canna. Feels pretty good now that... the Trundle. So I was really interested in whether or not the Trundle was going to come out if a tank was locked in for KC. But instead, T1 are looking at it as a potential, I guess, theoretically top lane option.
I don't love it into the Renekton. In my experience, it can be pretty difficult to actually get effective trades. This I like a lot more. I mentioned the Gragas because I feel like it is a pretty good neutralizing pick into the Renekton. You know,
and probably Doran's best champion.
And you can ult Camille out of the ultimate.
And the Tempered Fate also being a bit of a thorn in the side. But T1 a lot more combo-based for this composition. So we get onto the Rift for game number 2. T1 looking for match point. KC looking to try and come back after a difficult game 1.
Yeah, they are going to have to try their best to just shrug it off, bounce back. Let's see what they can get done. And you got to be confident. If you're going to play with Camille, you got to be a madman.
Well, Keria already down to 50%, has to use the heal. And dodges away from a couple of Mystic shots to avoid full death. But that is a good start here for KC.
Yeah, that is really good. And that's the kind of thing you need to do, right? Like, that is why you have to play with incredible amounts of confidence if you're going to play Camille. When I think about guys like Keria and On having amazing games on this, it is them throwing themselves into danger on repeat, trying to start fights, trying to get value. As Owner here is going to be starting on the enemy blue buff, and I don't think they really know about this.
Flashing in already. Pays. Does have to use the barrier. Doesn't get a lot of value for it, as we can see. Just eats a bit of Ignite. But Busio just making sure that he cycles those cooldowns as quickly as possible.
And I talked about the level 1. This is the kind of lane you need to play. You cannot allow Caitlyn and Bard to just sit there and stay full health and be comfortable, because you will not win out in this situation. But my fear is Owner is going to get level 3 and then come from behind them, and there's no flash on Busio. And I think we are seeing the first blood already shape up right now, and it's probably going to be onto Busio unless Doran is in trouble here.
Yeah, Canna is not going to kill him just yet.
Yeah, I think we're going to watch Busio die.
Well, we're not right yet. We're watching the Gromp die first.
Close your eyes, KC fans.
Oh, dear. Isaac has warned you, okay? So do not be surprised. It's okay now. Yeah, Busio just going to get ushered out of the lane. Ono makes his way over. Busio down to 200. Make that 150. The flash forward piece has been made as Burst Blood is picked up.
Here comes Yike, though.
All right, let's see whether they can clean this one up. Pace down to 100. Kalisz now in trouble, though. Headshot comes through, and Yike just puts him down. Ono is able to trade. That makes it a 2 for 2 in the end.
It did become a 2 for 2, but Kalisz just went way too fast. Buy time for Yike to come down. It felt like he got over-aggressive there, shifted in, had the barrier flash, maybe felt like he could outplay it, make them overcommit to him, and then go back. But I feel like if he had just stayed a little bit more patient, Yike would have been able to arrive. Then he could go in, and maybe they could have got multiple kills without him dying. Because at the end of the day, it is Yike benefiting from this play, but Kalisz still ends up behind, and now this bot lane 2v2 is going to be that much more difficult, because look at the buy for Kalisz. It is just a tier. Pays went back and got double longsword, much more combat power purchased up here for the T1 bot lane.
Yeah, that is some versus 0, if my mind is right. It's Yike. He was the big benefactor, and I actually think that a Qiyana that gets accelerated is sort of the only one that has value. And so Yike is in a great position in this game.
Oh, he's looking for bot, but I think Owner has a read on this.
Yep, he is going to get stunned, but now Busio is in trouble. Still doesn't have the flash, remember. Peace once again, and that is another kill onto this Camille. Magical Journey is going to bring them over towards Yike, who tries to get into stealth to try and get out. Nice double stun, but guess what it means? Absolutely nothing as Peacemaker comes through yet again. Yike is still trying to skip around this jungle. Just terror shaping and things like that, but Keria has the Meep slap, and down goes the Qiyana. That's 1-0, 300% kill contribution for the Bard out of Keria.
And it's a moment like that where I want to hear comms, because I want to hear who from T1 was calling for Owner to pull off there. You know, was it him that had the read that Yike was coming? You know, who actually set up this play? Because, you know, here's the previous play that we're talking about. So I want to watch it back and actually watch Kalisz, because to me, you see these low health bars. He is doing fine here. Wait for Yike to go in first. He is full health. The Arcane Shift in early, to me, was the big mistake. I don't think he needed to do that. You could have just waited a couple more seconds, and at the very least, I think you kill 2 and you live, and then he has the summoners for this play where Busio goes in. They're expecting them to be able to win this because Yike is coming behind, but then they spot Owner and they realize, oh god, we can't actually keep going forward. So Oner pulling off the Krugs there to move down to bot to either cover or to look for actually a fight himself was so critical. So whoever called that, whether it was Oner himself or Paze or Carrier, recognized that, hey, this is the moment that they'll be going, really made a big difference in that game because that got them not 1 but 2 kills, and Paze even more accelerated.
Well, Carrier just able to magically journey his way out of that situation. We'll be all right for now. Busio still level 3, as Carrier does tick over to that level 4 now. Faker was having a little bit of trouble in lane. I think that Yahoo was doing a great job on the Casio, but as we can see here, it hasn't really equated to too much of anything at all. They'll get the crash, and we have Yahoo making his way back into lane now.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Carry on Bard. This is why we're talking about Carry on Bard. A 12.6 KDA with over 40 competitive games played and an over 80% kill participation means you're probably not bad at the champion, if I had to make an estimate.
And Carrier's been playing for quite some time now as well, with 41 games on the Bard as well, and wasn't always on the always winning team.
But don't worry, because surely his teammate down in the bot lane can't be as good at his champion. 12-1?
Yeah, and Paze hasn't been on T1 the whole time. He was just on Gen G before. It's all right. Canna is now having to blow the ultimate. It's going to be able to keep him alive, though, as there is the kill onto Carrier in the bottom lane. Paze able to get the net to safety as he finds a headshot onto Kalista as well, but it is a good dive onto the Bard. In the meantime, there is still more happening here in this top lane as Oner does make his way out, and now Canna going to take that as an invitation just to kill Doran if he can. Good body slam does come on through as Paze is taken down, and KC finding some opportunities here on the map.
That is massive for KC, being able to take out both of the T1 bot laners, and just like that, Kalista's back to parity, because even though Paze had those 2 kills, he's been missing a lot of farm. You know, that wave was crashed to the tower there. They're obviously fighting a lot, so he's not always around to get all that CS. And then on top side, T1's play did not work out onto Kana, and Carrier looking here.
Yeah, Faker is still with the ultimate, does have that available, but not too much behind it. Yeah, there's just some Swifties and a rock.
Exactly, you bought Swifties, you bought some mana, so not going to be able to do much there. Is Doran trying to keep him off of this tower, but Kana knows he has no explosive cast, so there's not really that risk of the wave just getting one shot and you picking up turret aggro.
Yeah, Busio making his way in, though. Hookshot is going to get the stun as Doran gets a bit of his health bar back, but Busio going to be able to withstand that one shot. The flash on in as Oner finds the Q for the kill. Flash away from Busio. No Warrior Trickster available for Oner to get over that wall, and so it is just the 1-for-1.
This is great, though. You know, Busio got 3 kills now. He's accelerated a bit. When you can get to that first item on the Camille, it is really, really relevant because you are just fighting non-stop here, looking to, you know, force the issue. And Kana, this time, is in a way better position. Yike is in a way better position, which I think is so important after a game like last game where you're getting Flame Horizon, where you're in this, you know, unplayable position that he was in. Now he has agency returned to him in a game like this, and he's been so critical for KC and their success throughout this split. So it's going to be exciting to see what KC can do now with a gold lead here. A big series of plays for them really gets them back into a great spot.
Well, they're on the Dragon now. It is spotted on a ward, but KC will be able to clear that one out as Oner moving on over towards his Raptor camp, and I don't think they're looking to contest this one. First Drake should be going over to KC after that play. Busio looking for an angle towards Faker as he is getting into a very aggressive position. Scared of the Weak comes down just to make sure that that sphere does connect. And he just moves himself out of the way. So that is the first Drake going on over. Canna now just blowing the ultimate, but the magical journey comes through Cast. He's going to pull the Crocodile away from the turret, and that should be the kill. Oner picks up that one as well, moving to 3-1. And T1 finding the cross map.
Nice try there from Kana. Almost took Oner down. One more tower shot probably would have done it, but didn't quite have the ability to do it. Faker in maybe a little trouble as they have to beat in. Yikes coming behind Faker as well.
Yeah, that is a lot of true shot charge damage to try and take down Wukong as Faker able to get away from this supreme display of talent, but that will not save his turret, or at least maybe will. Second plate not going to be claimed. Faker will just be going back now.
And T1 make a play on top side. KC make a play of their own. 3-man go in towards Faker. They force out his flash. But meanwhile, T1 was in this. They get all 3 grubs back-to-back games, so we're going to be feeling pretty good about that. Especially when you are playing with the Caitlyn, you want to be sieging these towers. You want to be putting that pressure on. But of course, it really hasn't been that kind of standard game where Paze and Carrier are non-stop pushing, because it's been more about the scrapping, more about the fighting, not so much that standard push them in, whittle down the tower play style that you see from Caitlyn.
Yeah. And I think that KC, I mean, they have a 1.5k gold lead. This is a great game for them so far. And T1, now we get to kind of talk about what T1 has looked like this year, right? Because this is actually kind of par for the course. They've done a lot of, we're going to fall behind, but then we're just way more coordinated and way better at you when it, when the late game arrives, right? Yep. Like, they can always just find a team fight, and then the game is all of a sudden over. And you think that you're in a comfortable position. You think that you've got the game in the bag, but T1 disagree. And it's been really frustrating if you're not a T1 fan and you're watching your team just cruising, having a good time, and then it doesn't quite work. As Faker has found Yike, or has Yike found Faker? Is True Shot Barrage going to come on through? Busio going to take that kill with the Hextech sweep. And that is the first death here for Faker in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you look no further than yesterday. They were down 59-26 gold in game 2, you know, versus TL, obviously able to come back, even with a compositional disadvantage, and still win that game. They were down 1,200 gold as well in game 3, able to, you know, it's a much smaller lead, but still, you know, from deficits, they are never out of it. Their team fighting is so good, and they have such strong playmakers on this team that are very difficult to deal with, as Keria,
I think he might just be dead. Yeah, Scream Display of Talent does come on down here. It's the flash from Keria looking for the Cosmic Binding onto Canna and Yike, but it does not work. Sad bark noises as he is going to get taken out. Teleport will bring Doran towards that top lane as he's looking for Glist alongside Ona, but they're not quite able to find it in time.
Yeah, at the very least, no.
Picking the Arcane Shift does not actually quite get there.
He did get the flash off Kana, so you know he looks for that flash. It looks a little bit strange, but he's looking for a flash to redirect his Q to bind Kana and Yike together. Yeah. So Kana then flashed the binding to make sure they didn't get stunned. So yes, he does go down, but it is a trade of flashes at the very least. And the Renekton flash is actually quite valuable. So, you know, being able to play in that team fight is a lot harder to access backline without that. KC rolling right now, 2.2k is their lead. Last quite a few plays have gone their way after an early start that made you think it might be heading in a similar direction to game 1.
Well, can I remember freshly without that flash, like you were just talking about, Ona going to come on over and look to see whether he can capitalize. With the wave being thinned out, that should mean that they can get himself out of there and everything should be all right. Securing this blue buff, I don't think Ona is going to opt in for any sort of smite battle there. And this time, Yike is returning the favor with quite a few camps in advantage. Thanks to his 2-0 start on the Qiyana. Actually, just looking really, really good on this champion. And as an LCK representative, we're very used to Qiyana just not doing a whole lot and losing the game. That's what she does in my region. And we are learning that that is not necessarily how it's supposed to go.
Man, Yehu has been sidestepping everything. We just saw him dodge like 6 or 7 skill shots in a row there from Faker. Really well played. His owner is able to steal away the Raptors and may find Yike here, but Kana is moving, so has to be a bit careful. Kana going to come in and support. You can see Faker was cheating up towards that side of the map. T1 wanting to overload the top side of the map, but meanwhile, Busio was hunting around mid lane, and Kalist is pushing down bot lane. We'll see who gets first tower. It is going to be pretty close, and the first tower is going to go to KC.
Yeah,
just like
solo gold
Kalist is 1.1k up.
Exactly, so gets all of the gold from those plates and gets to hang around for that first brick as well. So that is a very powerful Ezreal moving towards 2 items very quickly. This is something that we illustrated yesterday. Part of what gives you the advantage as the Ezreal in this matchup is that when the Caitlyn's weak, you are really, really strong. And we can see that that is precisely what's going to happen here for Kalist, getting very close to that Muramana. Needs a few extra stacks on the tier, but they should be coming in very, very quickly. And when you get your Manamune before the transformation of the tier comes in, that's when you know you're ahead of the clock. You're feeling really good about it, as oftentimes you do just get that instant transformation if you're just playing out the game in a normal sense. So really nice pacing so far for KC, as they are going to be able to take Double Dragon as well, and it's a Mountain solo this game.
Mountain actually really strong, honestly, for both sides, because there is a lot of burst in this, a lot of upfront damage, but we want to know, who do you think has the better fandom? Because these are 2 of the teams with some of the largest fandoms in the entire world.
Oh, Pays going to get put into the Hextech ultimatum. Nowhere to go and will be taken out. Busio able to take that last turret shot as well. And when you can guarantee that type of kill, then that's when you know that the Camille support is working out. But speaking of support, yes, we want to make sure that we get the Blue Wall versus T1 fandom. And honestly, T1 fans are pretty disappointed from your prediction, like earlier on today.
They lost the prediction.
They lost the prediction battle. We don't see that from T1.
So spam T1 or KC in chat. Let us know who you think has the better fandom. But Busio, super strong, just goes straight in here. Keria tries to come through and prevent as much damage as he possibly can. Throws the Bard ult, not onto Busio, but onto Kalist because he wanted the tower to stay onto Busio there. But they're going to look for Yike.
Yeah, Yike does throw down the ulti, though, defensively. Ono should have another Cyclone in order to take him down, and actually gets over the wall. But Canna and Yehu turn up as well, and that is going to be the answering kill onto the jungle. And now Faker dealing with Busio here, and does have to get himself out of the way. Keria taking a little while to die, but he will indeed do that. You've got Paze going for a cross map towards the bottom side, but T1 are just falling further and further behind.
Yeah, I mean, this is a crazy game from Busio. He now has 5 kills. He almost was solo killing Faker there on the side. He is ridiculously strong. Has had this Thundered Sky for some time.
Right.
Has had his completed sword. Okay.
Equilibrium has been restored. As that is a really nice arcane shift from Kalist, making sure
That's
that
some
he doesn't
T1
get thrown
power
into the
right there, for sure.
Yeah, I think they may have taken the initial vote personally.
Yep.
All right, Canna now is just clearing out the wave, and that is Paze not able to quite find the value that he's looking for. This is the problem, though, right? KC cannot rest on any laurels.
No.
Laurels are illegal in a matchup against
Stay away
T1.
from the laurels.
And we've seen so much of these type games, right? Where Paze is on the Caitlyn, falls into the trough, and T1 are looking like they're falling apart. And then he gets his third item, and the game's over.
And this is why you cannot rest on your laurels, because T1, I mean, everyone has a bad record against T1. Let's be honest, it's T1, but this is T1 all-time versus the LEC. They are 22-12 versus G2, so G2 has been the most competitive there, but still obviously very heavily favored for T1. Everyone else is that 24-7 record versus the rest of the LEC here. And KC looking to put another one in the win column for their region. But it is very difficult to get across the finish line here against a team like T1. But it is KC with the gold lead, with the objective lead, have the ability here in 2 minutes to try to grab that third dragon, move towards that Mountain Soul that would be so nice for them. As they are going to be able to take a tower.
Yeah, nice charge to come on through here as the tower will be going down. Shelly should be ushered towards the inner turret as well. We'll see whether she does get another charge. As we have Ona being discovered by Busio in the jungle, takes a magical journey to get himself out of the way, but here is the charge and there is the denial as the Tempered Fate does come on through to make sure that this turret stays spick and span.
Yeah, nicely done there by Keria. Right place, right time with the Bard.
Oh, Flash Miasma to come down from Yehu, who's looking to chase Faker down. He is going to flash, and Yehu is just going to have to let him go after that one. Had used his flash previously, but flash on Syndra means that, yeah, he's a sitting duck. As True Shot Barrage will be avoided by Faker going the same direction that he was going already.
Oh, they're trying to set a trap. Owner is actually here. They're going to look for Yehu.
Yeah, they do get out, and there is the Unleashed Power. Outplay that, he says.
Yeah, that is really well done there by T1. Yehu goes really aggressive. Obviously would have won the 1v1, but Faker gets away. And then he realizes, Owner is here behind me. We have a pink ward that's already in the brush. We know there's no vision. So they lay a trap. They set it up. Beautifully done by T1. Punishing Yehu, who just goes a little bit too far. Assumed that Faker would have gone back to base. He knew he had Busio behind him, so he felt confident because of it. And does get punished big time. So we'll see if T1 can take something more from this, because now both of those mid laners are pretty vulnerable for the next couple minutes here. But as you mentioned, Syndra without Flash really is that much more scared, especially against the composition that KC have.
Yeah, barrier going to be used just to block the ace in the hole, but there's a nice amount of damage to come on through here as I believe Faker over the wall, finding a few angles towards the Ezreal.
And that's actually really big, because look at the time until Dragon spawns. Kalista is going to be able to grab the red buff. He also used his barrier there. They're TPing in deep. Kana's looking for a fast start to this fight.
Yeah, in goes Busio. He's going to lock down Faker. He's going to die for it, but look at that stun from Yike. Absolutely massive, and Kana gets into that backline. Paze going to have to try and net himself out of there, but netting a Crocodile, that is a difficult option as he flashes to catch the blast cone, and now Paze, I don't know how you're supposed to get out of this one with a full health Croc, but he's going to try his very best to do as much damage before he goes down. Kana taking that turret shot, and he will fall, but it is 2 kills going over to Yehu. This Cassiopeia is massive.
I just love how quickly they forced that. They never allowed T1 to actually set up. Kana just TP'd in immediately, and they full sent it before the dragon even spawned here. They get straight in there. There's no way Owner's going to be able to steal this. Not with Busio hunting for you. I don't think you can get there in time. So that is sole point for KC. You can see the blue wall popping off here in Daejeon.
Yeah.
Really, really excited about how the second game is going. After the first game was absolutely T1 all the time. You could see the all-in pings immediately on that ward as they were TPing in, and Kana just gets in behind them. And look at this confident engage from Busio. Busio knows he's going to die there, but it doesn't matter. He's setting up for the rest of the team. Busio with the engage, and then the follow-up here from Yike. Kana is in the middle of your whole team. Busio is just on one this game. This man is on a mission here.
Him and
on
Yike,
the Camille.
Man. Him and Yike, both yesterday and today. And after that performance in game number 1, I think we were thinking, like, is Yike going to wake up this series? Well, he's definitely woken up. Looking absolutely fantastic. Supreme display of talent, one of those abilities that can sound a little bit silly when you read it out. Definitely didn't sound silly in that last fight. Looking absolutely beautiful on this Qiyana.
That's some damage right there.
Yeah.
He
doing the numbers.
Pretty crazy that Kana just gets in the middle of the entire team. That was just beautiful from KC, and T1 not given a chance there. And now T1 have their backs against the wall in this game. Do not want to be giving over that Mountain Soul. It is going to make it so much more difficult, especially when they're already down on gold. You look at the items here from Faker. It is not that scary. You look at the items from FaZe, not that scary at this point.
Well, Yike is going to have to flash to get out of the way of the Tempered Fate. And that is going to be at least something here for T1. I don't think T1 are going to be too phased or flustered about how this game state is looking. They're still trying to get to that 3 items onto FaZe. That's when they know they're going to have a much better experience as Faker. Maybe a little bit overextended, but does have the dash cannon to get himself out of the way. Or the proto belt, if you want to say it correctly.
And got the barrier off place.
Yeah, gets a button. That's going to feel good. So they've got a flash and a barrier. And they've got 3 minutes until this Mountain Soul is available. I really do think that Mountain Soul is going to be so difficult for T1 to play into.
I agree.
It's kind of the perfect soul that KC were looking for in this game. As now Yehu, speaking of looking for things, he's going to find Faker. Scatter the Weak is not going to work because he's not very weak. And there is the last Twin Fang to take him down. The unleashed power is pitiful at best. And this Snake Lady is very, very strong.
Yeah, that is a solo kill there for Yehu. The Roa ticks over. He now goes up to level 15. And this has been a problem for Faker in the LCK. He has been getting a lot of solo kills, but he is second in the entire league in solo in isolated deaths.
Yeah.
And you can see here on the Coinbase gold grind a very significant damage, rather gold gap being opened up here by Yehu, who is now up 1K. Everyone on KC is ahead, but it is Yehu and Busio with the biggest gold leads.
And I think we're going to be looking at Doran in team fights and FaZe to get another item together in order to save this one for T1 if they are going to make it work. But KC have just been so good at pulling the trigger. There's Tempered Fate looking to lock down Busio here as Doran making his way in. He is unseen as he looks for the angle. Body slam doesn't work, but there is the cast. Supreme display and talent onto only the tank, and they take out Kalist before anything had even happened. And it's just free hitting for FaZe. Canna with a massive ultimate, but it doesn't do anything. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. T1 just win a team fight, take a Baron, and they're back in control. How annoying is it, Azael?
How do they keep doing it every damn time? T1 find a way to make the magic happen, losing all game long. We're talking about the soul, but they find the fight beside the Baron. 23-minute Baron here. It's all started up by Keria. Lands the ult onto Busio. Dorian TP's in, and Owner flashes in. The cask is there, knocking back Kalist, whose flash came out a split second too late to avoid that cask, and then Faker and FaZe are untouched. Yehu arrives with a TP, but his whole team is already dead, and the Baron is theirs for the taking. It's so reminiscent of the series against TL yesterday. You know, T1 just grabbed these Barons, it feels like, out of nowhere, and now it is only an 800 gold lead here. It is sole point available. You talked about the third item. FaZe has the rapid fire. Owner is on 3 items, has reclaimed that gold lead. And now KC are really going to have to be on point if they want to win these next fights, because they've lost the gold lead. It is so hard to play a 5v5 with Camille and Qiyana. You got to be perfect.
Well, they're going to look for it here as Busio gets over the wall with a hook shot. The dash cannon to try and get him out of there, but that Hextech ultimatum not really working as Canna gets into the backline, looking for Faker. The unleashed power, though, and he's taking so much damage. Pays untouched, finds the auto attack as he gets over the wall, and it's a double here. Oner with the Nimbus strike, looking for Kalist, and that ace and hold doesn't work because his target has already been taken down. And I just feel like T1 have made it out of the trough, and now they're just skipping to the finish line. As Faker eating some honey fruit, Pays looking a little bit worse for wear. But yeah, who cannot step up. Yike, similar story as T1 look to deny the soul and get themselves back into this driving seat. 3,000 gold on the Red Bull Baron power play, and Yike, ace in the hole finally comes
Busio's
back up
back.
again, and Busio is going to get on forward. That is going to be a Gronk to go over to Yike, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do enough here as the Dragon secured, and T1 going to spend all of that hard-earned gold.
Yeah, T1 win another fight. Busio again, you know, he knows it's going to be hard to take the fight, so he just full sends it instantly, and Kana did get in on top of both Faker and Pays, and I thought there was an angle for them to win the fight here. So watch it one more time. It looks like, hey, did Busio go too early? But then you see everyone coming over. He is flashed in. Kana is moving down. Yehu is moving down, throws down the Hextech ultimatum, and look at Kana, who goes in over the wall. This multi-man stun from that beautiful ult that came out of Yike. Kana's on top of the carries. Just doesn't quite have the damage to finish off Pays and Faker.
And you know what it was? It was the locket from Carrier. Gets on in there, gets the big old shield to come on over.
Here's TP.
And now another flank angle. Supreme display of talent. They're looking for Faker. They should be able to lock him down. Takes a little bit longer to get him. And now Oner is in no man's land. That, oh my God, takes down Yike. It was suicide, but he manages to take his opposite number with him. And now Doran, he just wants to teleport out, and he will be able to do so. A little bit of a catastrophe here, but KC finding themselves an advantage in the fight once again.
Yeah, honestly, good job by KC, you know, from that position. It's T1 with the Baron. It's T1 who have been winning the fights, but they are just continuing to force the issue here. This time they pick off Faker, who, you know, was missing that flash. They're able to find him. They're able to take him down. T1 wanted to set up a split map type situation where they're pushing in multiple lanes with the Baron buff. They're trying to get that into their favor, but KC just forced the issue, find a fight, find these split up members, and are able to take down both the mid and jungle of T1 and really stifle the Baron. You know, the Baron went kind of nowhere whatsoever there.
Doesn't really work. And we saw the win probability. It was feeling a bit short, and then starts to become completely confused about how this one is going to go. And I'm kind of there with them. There is still some point, KC. That is a lot of power on the table. They can force T1 into that position, go for trades between the Dragon and Baron. They're separated by only 40 seconds. And so things can get a little bit murky as far as those setups around these objectives in the next couple of minutes.
Yehu is so strong right now, though, for KC. You know, he's on 3 items. He is very tanky. All these items he's building have HP. Has the flash available, and you're looking for that big fight from Yehu, because in most of the actual big team fights, he hasn't really been able to get super involved. Busio looking again.
I believe Pays is dead. He's going to go golden for a few moments thanks to Carrier, but then will be shut down. That is money over to Kalist as well. They get to just set that one up. And now everything all evened out as far as the kill score is concerned, and the gold as well. It is 56k versus 56k.
Yeah, Busio finding another pick there, just constantly looking for these engages, setting up his team. Kalist gets the shutdown, which is critical because he was, you know, starting to fall behind a little bit. He's had the Endless Hunger. He is now working in towards his armor penetration. And you see Pays just picked up a GA, so besides the defensive with the 4th item here, it makes a lot of sense when you're playing against Qiyana as well as Camille.
Yeah, and not a lot of true tanks on this team as well, so the Lord Doms can come a little bit later.
The unfortunate thing, though, is there's nothing for KC to take after.
Yeah. So not really getting too much as far as a trade is concerned. Pays with a lot of money in this game, despite just being taken down. But he does have the last Whisper. So just went for as much flat AD as possible for the last fight, I guess, as Busio now in a little bit of trouble. Scatter the Weak is not going to connect, but the Cyclone a little bit more difficult to avoid as he does try to use the Hextech ultimatum to deny the gameplay button, but it does not actually do enough. As now T1 with a kill, 15 seconds before the Baron. That is looking like a potential avenue here, and if they take the Baron before the Dragon is available, then that trade that we were talking about is not even going to be possible.
Yeah, Busio is going to be dead for 10 seconds after the spawn, so if T1 are going to start it, they have to do it right on spawn. They are going to do that. Pace undid his GA purchase, so he does not have that Guardian Angel. He has the last one that you pointed out instead. And Khalees getting chunked out. Lana's already chunked out. This is going to be really hard. It's kind of up to Yike and Yehu here on the side. Can they find an angle?
Bonus Smite Button has been pretty good so far this tournament, and he also has Doran available. Supreme display of talent, not quite doing enough. Doran's so tanky. Yike can get in here, but it's not going to be enough. And they take the Baron in trade for their top laner.
But the problem is, now you have to fight Soul, and you just lost Doran for that. I don't think it was worth
goes in, and he finds such a beautiful angle. Slicing and Dyson does go down, but he's done so much damage as Yike has to flash away. If T1 can actually get a reset in before this Dragon, then it's possible. But it's 5 seconds, and they have to make their way back out onto the Rift.
Yeah, KC can just rush it. It should be theirs, I think. You can see Pace is just going towards top side here. They're going to actually TP for this. I'm not sure why Pace is not coming if they're going to commit to the play, because Faker is in the area. He's trying to see, can I get there and make a magical steal? Cannot make it happen.
It is impossible. So that is the Mountain Soul to come through for KC. And now 6 minutes on the clock
and now
until the Elder's up. Yeah, I think Faker is probably just dead. Yeah, Hextech Ultimatum comes down. Doesn't find the Scat of the Week onto Yehu either, as Busio is still trying to chase him down. Faker buying as much time as possible, but those Twin Fangs are unavoidable. And T1, they are just trying to deny the backs so that Paze can take an inhibitor turret. And perhaps that is going to work, as Yehu is teleported over, looking for a bit of an angle towards these two here that are just trying to buy space, trying to buy time. They've got a blast going to get themselves out. And Supreme Display of Talent will get the kill onto Carrier, and Canna did make it back to deny the Caitlyn. There's a Cask to get some space for Oner as well, but I think the Rebel Baron power play is not going to be doing too much in this one either.
No, I mean, T1 really getting hurt pretty heavily here, because they committed so much to go for the Baron, but the Mountain Soul was spawning, and that is what the game has been about this whole time. So sure, you do get the Baron, but with Doran going over the wall there, obviously his objective is to stop the 50-50, right?
Yeah.
But when he goes over the wall into both Yike and Yehu, it is a one-way trip. You can't get out through the miasma. So they burst him down, they kill off Doran, and then that really meant that T1 had no shot at actually stopping the Soul. So this ends up being a horrible trade for T1. Probably would have been a lot more the kind of safer play to try to just play for the Soul, but they felt like, hey, we killed Busio, we can go for this now, then get the Dragon after. But at the end of the day, they're not able to do that because they lost Doran, and now T1 back into a tough spot. The gold lead is nothing, but it is that Mountain Soul.
Well, Oner going to have to use a very early Cyclone here as Yehu just does so much damage. True Shot Barrage comes on through. It was actually a Leandri's purchase here from this Cassiopeia. So if they actually get to an Elder, the Elder is just going to die like so incredibly quickly. So 4 minutes, T1 need to make sure that their setup around the Drake Pit is going to be way better than what we saw previously. Otherwise, that one could just disappear.
You can see Doran's gone for the Vandal Pipes. I mean, he knows the game really is about.
I think I know which song he's playing as well. A bit of the yakety sax out of this guy so far, as T1 have been playing fast and loose in this game.
Well, Pace has his GA this time, so and he's left the base, so it's for reals this time and now. But Kalista on the other side still very, very strong. When you get to this later point of the game where you have your Armor Pen, where you have the Endless Hunger, you have just no cooldowns whatsoever on your Q. You get so much ability haste that if you hit a Q, your Q is back up. And, it really starts being a real threat in the late game. People talk about Ezreal as not being able to kill tanks, but when you get to this point in the game, you can actually kill tanks. When you have all your abilities hitting, it is very, very threatening. But Mountain Soul or not, it is going to come down to the engages, because if you bungle the engage as the Kiana, as the Camille, you can absolutely still get one shot, even with the Edge of Night, even with the Mountain Soul. T1 are going to have the damage to push through here.
Faker, he is the one that has been struggling a little bit in comparison to his counterpart, 6-1 and 6 Yehu on this Cassiopeia. I think the Snake will be imperative for KC if they do want to close this game out, and right now they're in a great position to do so. There's a slight gold advantage for T1. You can see it popped up on your screen just
Busio
there.
is very deep. He was in the jungle behind Doran. We're going to see if they're going to look for Paze. I think he's going to try to come in behind Paze and try to look for a pick, but Doran, I think, is maybe hunting?
No, he's looking for the bottom lane, so he sees the red dots and does not see the Camille. As Paze going to get engaged on there, as let's see where the Carrier can find the ulti. Does manage to get Paze golden, but it's going to take some time. Does find the angle there as well, so Supreme display of talent is fantastic, but double GAs are going to be popped here for T1. Magical Journey comes over, trying to buy that space as Canna is taken out. Kalist gets scattered here by Faker as it's a double for Doran, who doesn't seem able to lose health. Oh, Kalist taking matters into his own hands, not able to quite land that Mystic shot though, and now it's Oner making his way in. Yehu has to flash away, and Paze flashes in to secure the win for T1. Oh, this team just makes too much magic.
Busio is great, but Keria is the greatest of all time. It shows you why. The defensive Bardoll, the portal to get Paze out after the GA, the locket to buy the time. Everything was perfectly played from Keria to get Paze out of there and get T1 their second win.
And match point in this series as well. The unleashed power to come through. I think Busio deserves that, as he has been absolutely amazing in this game. Unfortunately, it was not enough, as Yike, he's going to get scattered, he's going to get taken out, and it's going to be the Nexus turrets falling. But this game, nothing like what we saw in game 1, as KC, they really...
Van Cleef, hey, big for you.
Range option, and he is instead going to go a different route, as the Lucian will be locked away.
Yeah.
Melio probably on the cards unless Busio decides he wants to pick that one away.
Yeah, I would definitely think that it is going to be Lucian Melio as the answer here. You know, clearly, KC were trying to take away some of the safe laning options. The Jhin, the Ziggs, both strong laners, but they can also play from very far away. It's a lot more difficult to get onto them for champions like the Annie, who are really looking for that engage. Lucian, you need space to be created for you if you're going to be dashing in there with an Annie having Tibbers available, right? You know, that is always very, very scary. Varus, Neeko, really common 2v2 that we had seen for quite a long time. Which does make me wonder, you know, if it is just going to be that lethality style, you know, even though that has received some nerfs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. As soon as I see Neeko Varus, I'm like, it's lethality. But
especially if there's not really a tank on the other side, it doesn't really matter that much, you know. They have pretty good damage, especially if you are going to go towards the Gnar. Kana obviously so comfortable on it. I do think it is a pretty good matchup for the Yorick.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, this is a bit of a scary one, picking it into the Yorick that's already there. But we did see kind of like pick a Gnar into a theoretical losing matchup yesterday, and he obliterated it.
It's just fun, right? Like, it just loves this champion, and I will
seeing the course and getting themselves into good spots. So here we are into game number 3. T1 with that match point. KC, this could be the beginning of the reverse sweep.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to get that done. Yehu, he is a former LCK player. You know, he has had some experience against Faker.
Yes.
You know, coming into today.
Do you want to know his experience against Faker?
He is 0-6 coming into today, so he's now 0-8. He has never won a game against Faker. And if he loses this game, he will then be 0-4 in the series as well. So, you know, that is tough. But I will say, he has been playing quite well. I feel like he's been...
Oh my goodness. This is just a lot of info. There is the barrier out of Kalist. Pace still has his. And no heals remaining on either side. This is getting explosive here in this bottom lane. That is a lot of Ardent Blaze value there from Pace, wanting to race towards this level 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kalist is actually going Doran's Helm, which has been nerfed on this patch. And he's down a summoner, and he used both his potions first. So
and he's gone lethal tempo, so he is going for the on-hit.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, you need someone to kill the front line off eventually, I guess, but it can be hard against these kind of comps sometimes to actually stand and fire, you know, for long enough. But if you do just engage the initial, you know, kind of go from Oner and Doran, then it may just be fine. As both these bot lanes trying to race for 2, but Pace is going to get it first. Then
there's the dash in, finds the double tap onto Kalist. The flash has to be used, and the Ardent Blaze just to make sure the Busio is out of there as well. This is Pace and Keria in vintage domination mode.
Yeah, that is beautiful form from them. And one of these little things that I love when you see smart plays like this. So from that spot, as soon as I saw that, you know, KC overstayed, you know T1 is going to get 2, and you know Kalist is going to have to flash. But it will be one of the T1 members that has to flash to force it. So Pace holds his flashes.
Oh, great wall up there from Kana as Doran finds a bit of help with the Q, but Mininar comes in, the boomerang comes down, and he can't quite get the auto. Turret would have definitely killed him there, but still manages to get the flash out of the Yorick. Maybe some more aggression later from Kana will be able to lock this one down. And he does get the shove under the turret.
That was really, really close. I thought that was going to dissipate earlier, but back to the earlier point. Basically, Keria or Pace, one of them needs the flash to force the flash from Kalist. So Keria does it early to force that flash and keep the flash available for Pace. So it's just these little optimizations that are just so smart. If they both flash, Kalist is going to flash there anyway. It doesn't accomplish anything. Look at the buy for Kalist, by the way. It's refilled, and that is just horrible. It is a bit of a horror. It has been a tough day in the 2v2 for them in general, and Oner is now down here with no flash on Varus.
Yeah, Yike is here as well, though, going for a little bit of a defensive play. There's the flash flag and drag, but the Xin Zhao is there to meet them. Kallisto just getting taken down. It's going to be first blood over to Oner. Yike trying to make sure that they can at least get one back, but he is dead as well. Busio running for the hills, and it's a 2-for-1 for T1.
That's really well done by T1. I think some junglers would have made the mistake there of actually EQ flashing, and then they would lose out on the flag and drag damage.
Yeah.
It was actually critical to flash first in that situation. They needed the additional damage there from Oner, and he knew it. If the jungler is there and I EQ flash in, I will just die. So instead, he flash flag and drag, gets the full damage onto the Varus. Paze is free hitting the whole time. Even though they focus down Oner, it's not a fight that KC can win from that spot. And it's just these little optimizations that you always love to watch when you're watching the best players in the world, right? They just have so much thought.
Oh, yeah, Lucio is just dead. In the meantime, Paze in a little bit of trouble, but obviously Faker is here, and he's looking to try and lock down the kill onto Kalist. He'll get the 100 health on Paze. That is just enough to keep him pushing this lane, and T1 close to a 2,000 gold lead at 4 minutes.
Yeah, that is really rough stuff here, especially, you know, when you are going Varus and Nico, and you're thinking you're going to have a pretty strong 2v2, but things went so bad so early. So here's that earlier play. Like I said, he knows Kalist has no flash. He's not going to go for an EQ flash. Instead, flag drag, so he gets that full damage down onto Kalist, focusing him down. Even with Yike in position, reading the play, it just didn't matter because Oner got his full damage out, kites well, and creates space for Paze.
Yeah, the fire kick as well from Keria was amazing to make sure that the Xin Zhao value is just not going to quite be there. As we have a look at this play as well, as Busio just taking too much.
Yeah, Busio was scrapping too hard there, absolutely. And as soon as the Tangle Barb misses, as soon as that root misses, well, now you have nothing, right? And Paze just dashes right past that E and gets right in on him. You can see definitely not looking too happy is Kalist, as they are just getting blasted right now. And Yike is going to come down and try to help them out, but he is spotted. Oner is still in the area.
Yeah.
And this bot lane cannot breathe.
Yeah, clears the ward, but now you've got the Jarvan moving down. They know exactly where Yike is. He knows that he's seen, as Doran taking a lot of damage here as well. There's the Ghoulie wall down, and Kana should be able to get this solo kill, but the Q comes in, finds the boulder, and will be able to get rid of the Yorick. In the meantime, Faker very close to death as well, but that solo kill from Kana might be a bit of hope back for KC.
Yeah, no
what is
kidding.
happening here? Okay, that's a bit of extra money, as Tibbers did a fair bit of work there to Faker.
I kind of want to see the top lane again because look how many minions are there. That was like a triple stacked wave that he just died on. That is
And
brutal.
there's no cannon to soak this either, so he's going to lose so many of these.
He legit lost almost a full like 2 waves at least, I think, on that play. So it's not just a solo kill. The first death is often not as big of a deal in top lane, but when you die with no TP and the waves at your tower, that can be game ruining because look at the experience difference. It's a full level off of it. That is not a fake 1 level lead. That is a full level that Kana has. Kana's going to have more minions coming back towards him. And so now, Doran, you can get into that tough spot where it's like, as Yorick, if you don't win sides, you very quickly get to what do I do in this game? Like, what is my point?
And Nara is very good at side lanes, but also a fantastic team fighter as well. We know that Doran can make things work in team fights on a lot of champions. His team fight Olaf, for example, some of the best that we've ever seen. Yorick is a difficult one to make work, but if there's anyone that can do it, it's probably Doran. But hey, if you're watching MSI, you might as well get rewarded for it. Azael, head over to lolesports.com after you've finished work, log in with your Riot ID, and watch live for a chance to earn MSI 2026 drops. And Isaac, you can do that. Maybe just put your phone over to the side or something like that. You're not allowed to do it while you're working, and I'm watching. Okay. You haven't actually reached for it though, so I don't know why I'm being mean. Let's have a look at this little fight towards the top side though, as the gnaw back is beautiful onto Doran. He does have some ghoulies here, but he is just going to be dropped down, and that is a beautiful play from KC. I think playing towards your winning lane is a great way out of this initial slump that they have had. And that is certainly going to be working out for them, as Keria trying to be annoying here in this bottom lane, but they do manage to protect the back from the Varus.
Yep, that is well done. As Tibbers is going to be dropped again. He was just kind of doing this on repeat, trying to use it just to take him out. I will say, small win for Doran is that at least he didn't have a Maiden out, so lose a Maiden. It actually sucks so much when you die early on in the game and you lose that Maiden. So now he did summon it up. He's going to try to reset that wave because he needs to get it in to crash. And he will be able to do that because he has that power of the Maiden. You can see him backing off now to try to preserve its health. As Owner is up here on that top side. Yehu doing a good job with the bear, scouting him out.
Yeah, or with the Annie, because obviously it's reverse Annie, so that is Annie that Tibbers is going to be dropping as Pays in a really uncomfortable position, but Relentless Pursuit is going to be used against its namesake and gets him out of there. When it becomes Lightning, Keria taking a little bit of damage there, but KC on the front foot once again. And I really like this. I feel like KC have just not been perturbed by the difficult early game towards the bottom side, and have just got back on that front foot, playing around their spikes as best they can. And now FaZe could be in a little bit of trouble.
He could. We'll see. Keria is around and is level 6, so it would be tough to knock it down. With all the summoners available and the Breath of Life, you would have to be really on point with your engage. So it's a risky play to go for KC. They do know it, so they will play back for now. Doran obviously in a really tough spot. If you're Doran, your job is get farm, protect the tower, don't die.
Yep.
That is it. You're no longer playing for trades. You're no longer playing for anything in the 1v1. Just get in the backpack. Let the teammates who have that lead get the job done.
I feel like Doran throughout his career has been very good at that. Very good at the get in the backpack.
Goes right up in there.
Oh, he does. He fits real nicely as Busio taking a lot of damage. When becomes Lightning, going to miss as there's the culling from Pays. He's spacing beautifully as Busio taking a lot of damage himself, as that's a Relentless Pursuit in from Pays at the result of that play, and Keria throws down the ulti. He was holding onto that one, but he still takes so much from the piercing arrows.
Here.
In the meantime, exactly right. If you start that fight, you're gonna have to make sure you finish it quickly, otherwise T1 will rotate over. But Owner is gonna be taking a lot of damage here. There's a Cataclysm. He finds a flag and drag towards Kalist, but he has a brilliant barrier to keep him alive. But T1 also absolutely fine. Yehu in this mid lane, doing a lot of damage to Faker and holding him in the lane. That is the main thing. As a teleport behind is looking to try and finish this one off. Yeah, gets himself out of there as Yike just gets destroyed by Pays. Gets over the wall, picks up the double encounter. Can he protect this? 1 versus 3. His health bar is massive. We're looking at Faker going down potentially here in this mid lane, but T1, they get away.
That fire kick was looking pretty ultra mega to me. He knocks him back and
also denies the back with the next one as Yehu finds a solo go on to Faker and doesn't take the turret shot. He thought he was dead, but just barely gets out of turret range and stops that last shot from happening.
This is such a huge win for T1 though. Look at Doran, he gets the push in the wave, he's gonna get a plate. Kana TP's away, and that one ultra mega fire kick there from Keria just completely denies the play. Pays flashing on top of Yike, getting inside of the ultimate there, bursting him down. Just knowing his limits so precisely is what is always so impressive about seeing his fighting.
Not to mention the fact that this is the Lucian, right? You have to be playing like this, right on the edge, in order to eke out the amount of damage to get value out of this champion. Pays has been devastating on this pick before, and he is demonstrating that right here at MSI. Feels like one of his best tournaments that he has had. Everyone remembers that 28 kill Kalista game. This guy is pretty comfortable here as Busio looking for an angle towards Doran. He does get locked down with those tangle bars. He's kind of looking for an angle, but Doran is going to be absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because Kana had a very optimistic Gnar that he threw the ult over onto Owner. Owner was already out of there, and if he had his ult there, I think he do kill Doran. So unfortunately, won't be able to get it. Now Owner and Keria up here to protect him. And look at Pays. No one is down there answering Pays. He is going to be able to grab that first tower. They're already up 2K here. And congratulations to Owner, who has now moved to third all-time on that wins list here. And I'm assuming that is international as he passes Xiaohu, one of the all-time greats from the LPL.
And Faker, Keria, and Oner. So it is 3 players on T1 that have the most wins at international events, and then Cooper and Caps
Turns out
after
when you have
Shahu as well.
more world championships than like everyone else combined.
Yeah.
You do play some games and win some too.
And Faker is like basically 100 ahead, 98 ahead of Keria. The problem for Keria is that every time he gets a win, Faker does too. That gap is never closing. It's like wanting to get older than your older brother. It just doesn't ever really work. As all right, Oner is going to be able to take down this Drake. That is going to be the second one locked in, and it's a Hextech Soul this game as well. A scary one for KC to be staring down the barrel of, but they are not going to react to it. They are just going to kill Doran again. That's going to be their plan, as Doran does find a bit of health back with that Q, and actually it's taking a while to kill him. Kenna will be able to do it, but it does take a little bit of time. 3 and 0 here, like all of the eggs are in the Gnar basket.
They absolutely are. It is a good basket to have. It is the ultimate comfort champ here for Arcano. We'll see if he can get something done in this game. Busio just playing towards that lane, gets up towards the top side, does get them the kill, but even with the 1.4k gold lead that he has, they are so far behind. Kalist is just going to be useless this game. You know, down over 2,000 gold here at 13 minutes is really, really tough. But, you know, you got to say, Yehu has been doing pretty darn well. You look back to last game and the advantages he was able to build. You know, this was his performance last game, 7-2-7, putting out a ton of damage. He was winning in that lane very slightly as well. And then this time coming back on the Annie, gets a solo kill onto Faker, and does have that ever so tiny gold advantage, but in a position to maybe be that person to try to punish FaZe.
Well, this is a weird situation here. It kind of does take that very deep Hextech gate in order to get into the enemy jungle. That is going to buy space to try and kill Doran again, is what I'm seeing. Yeah, moving on down here. There are a lot of plates up and available. Doran takes more than half of his health bar from a bear drop. But now T1 looking for a fight on the opposite side. The culling just thrown into Busio and Kalist, and Busio looks to be the target here. This Doran is dead once again, but is the cross-map play available for T1? And Oner says absolutely it is. Fire kick going to connect, and Kalist just needs another double tap as the Light Slinger will be able to take down the Varus. So 1-for-1 across the map here as Doran moves to 0 and 4. But that's a 3-0 for FaZe.
And FaZe is the one getting all the gold. He is so strong. They're going to look for Oner, though.
Yeah, and they will find him. Oner doesn't have a lot of friends in the area, and he knows that he's dead. So a weird position for the Jarvan debate.
It is, but you just wasn't expecting them all to stay around. And the reason they are staying around is, guess what? No one is answering top, no one is answering mid. So not that bad. Because KC committed everyone to overstay on bot side to try to get that. But that does mean Faker kills the tower up in top lane. FaZe gets plates and denies some minions in mid lane. So even though they get the kill, it doesn't actually change the gold lead really at all.
And now Yehu might just be dead as FaZe forces the flash. My goodness, the damage out of this 2-item Lucian is absurd. Quick Blade's done. And yeah, it's only going to get worse from here as he's going to be building towards his Infinity Edge.
And Doran, unironically, I mean, this is working, going at Doran over and over and over, but he's not really worth any gold anymore. And you can see in the Coinbase gold grind pays very, very far ahead now, nearly 3,000 gold ahead of Kalist, who is down 40 CS, down a bunch of kills, down a bunch of plates, down in everything. And it's going to be the strong members on KC's job to try to deal with FaZe, but that is always so hard when there's an enchanter behind a giga-fed AD carry, right? Because Keria is going to be there to protect him with the Breath of Life. He has the barrier, he has the cleanse, and he has Doran and Oner and Faker who are there to basically just keep him safe.
Yeah, and Yike taking so much damage. He flashes in to get the knock-up onto FaZe, but he gets himself out. He's got the ulti from Keria to keep him alive. As Yike goes in, but Doran just beating that front line. The knock comes back, though, as Canna turns up. Faker on the flank angle is able to take down the jungler as the Pop Blossom only picks up Oner, and Oner doesn't really care about that. The dash forward from FaZe, and they will be able to lock down that kill. On the opposite side, though, I mean, it is a 2-for-2 trade between the two squads. KC going to be okay with it, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I would say they should be really happy with that. The fact that you got Flash as well off of FaZe, yeah, Busio dies, but being able to get Flash off of FaZe is worth his life. That is worth its weight in gold. As Yike goes in here, FaZe and Keria kind of flexing on him, but Yayu was there very early, so he's able to push them back, Keria has to flash out. Doran gets rooted up by that Chains of Corruption, and in comes Kana, so they're able to burst him down, finish him off. And look at Busio on the side. I don't think Pace really recognized that he was coming until very late. Had to flash after that Protobelt play from Busio. They barely kill Faker before he realm warps out on the side, but even though it's an even trade of kills, even though Pace is still way ahead, you now have a window in to potentially actually kill Pace because he has no barrier, no flash. You have flash on Kana, and that is kind of who you are looking at now.
Yeah.
You put all of this effort into getting Kana ahead. He has 6 kills.
He's
up
massive.
2.6k. If he can find a flash ult.
Ooh, good flash from Ona. And that is the ult that you were talking about. Could have been enough to take down Ona, and that would have been really good to locking down this dragon. But still, KC with the inside track. And Doran, he's got teleport, but he is just moving towards that top side, getting the Maiden to work on the inner turret potentially. And it looks like T1 will sacrifice this Drake. And the power of the double dragon for T1 is very, very strong. Because now they can use it to get control of this mid lane. They've also got the Yorick moving towards the top side. So a Drake sacrifice for so much more on T1's side.
We're basically 2 full towers is what they're going to get here. And they're actually looking for a charge on the 3rd one as well. Pace is going to drive this in, which always makes me a little bit nervous, but
he's very young.
Aren't around.
Oh, they're not able to actually get the charge, and Pace is in a very uncomfortable position, but he's able to dash his way out. Close to a 4,000 gold for just Illusion.
That is ridiculous, as we're going to see Doran getting stopped, and maybe Doran dying, or at least having flash.
Yeah, he is going to be able to flash out of the way. Goalie Wall is going to go down, and so he is going to be able to get himself back. So still, I mean, getting a flash out of the arc going to be fantastic, but T1, 3.5k the gold advantage, and you're looking at the top of your screen, you're like 9-9, this game is very close, but at 18.5 minutes, 3.5k is no small lead.
Especially if you can concentrate it all on who I would say is the world's best team fighting AD carry.
Yeah.
That's not a bad place to put all your gold.
And that's exactly where all of it and more is,
yeah,
as far as the lead is concerned. 3.6 is a big one. And I do want to also talk about how these compositions are going to meet up later on and how it works out for T1 in their favor, because the biggest problem for late game team fights, in my opinion, is Kalist, because he's going to outrange kind of everyone. The problem is, he is the one that's 0-3. He is the one that's massively in the hole, and all of the money is on Kana, who is just decidedly short range into a Rise and a Lucian that are going to be doing so much damage later on from about the range that Nana wants to be playing in.
And that's why, I mean, with Kalist completely out of the game, it is all about your engage tools, right? It is about Flash Tibbers, it is about Flash Meganar, it is about Flash Pop Blossom, and it is about really coordinating on that where everyone goes in and you're hoping to one-shot Paze at the very beginning of the fight. If you can do that, you can easily win a fight, but that is a very hard thing to do. T1 have the run of the map. They are going to be marking you, on all these angles. They're going to be warding everything out, and they're going to be playing around keeping Paze safe here. So Paze needs to play well, but we're expecting him to do it.
Well, Busio finds the pop, well, almost finds the Pop Blossom, and now the Realm Warp just to try and get themselves into the fight. That is a brilliant start for KC, though, as Ona is just dead immediately. Faker follows suit, and T1 bit off more than they could chew. The Flash Gnar, and down goes Paze. Massive shutdown, and of course that money goes to the now legendary Kana.
Yeah, that's a 1K going to go to there, and they're going to go straight to Baron, and they're going to get the Baron here for free. This is crazy. The Realm Warp there was suicidal from Faker.
It was.
They take the Realm Warp in, but Yahoo has all his abilities. You're Realm Warping into the anti-stun. You still have to pay some respect to the damage that they can do. Yeah, you had killed someone, but it was just Busio. Everyone else had everything available there. And it was Yikes just going to die.
Yeah, and Yike with the Crescent Guard as well. They Realm Warp in, and then immediately they're just thrown around like ragdolls. And they get even further away, even more disconnected from Carrier and Pace. Let's have a look at it one more time as it started off so nicely for T1.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good play here. Busio just gets locked into the Cataclysm, tries to flash out late to try to get on Pace, can't do it, and they're like, oh, we win. But Kana arrives, and they are Realm Warping into every ability. Chains of Corruption is up, Crescent Guard is up, Kana is there, Tibbers is available. Everything is there. You're not that tanky at this point. It's not as though you're going in and you're trying to instantly Zonias and bait the play. They just didn't have the tools to do it. And then Kana comes over, spends that flash, kills off Paze. T1 obviously still in a decent spot, but this game is even now. And it was a massive lead.
And not to mention the fact that this Rebel Baron power play can be used to get themselves a second Hextech Dragon as well. And having a look here, this is KC on that comeback. T1 though, when the tempo vibes move against them, that is generally the happiest they become. Faker, what is he doing there?
Well, he's just split pushing, and they're going to try to just trade here on the other side. Kana.
Yeah, Kana versus Pace looks to be a bit of a 1v1 battle, but Carrier is there to support. There's now Yehu who's going to find Faker as well. Cannon's just going to be taken down though, and Pace returns the favor and picks up the shutdown money himself. Faker is going to be able to get himself out of there, bring some minions with him. He might even be able to eat some honey fruit.
Faker getting out safe there. But Kana's so strong. That was very scary for Pace. They actually had to spend the barrier and the ult from Carrier flash. He realized, hey, this could actually go bad. One or two more autos come through, another hyperproc, and maybe Pace does just get killed there by Kana, but T1 do pull it off, as they often do in these tight scenarios, and now it means they're going to get the Dragon off the back of this. They're going to move to Soul Point, and it is Hextech Soul, which is
that's a good
just
one.
Bad news if you are a KC fan.
Doesn't feel very good. The good news is that it's not actually Soul, because they were able to deny the last one with some good team fighting themselves. It's only 1,000 gold the lead. As Busio gonna try and get in amongst it here, catching anyone trying to defend this top lane push that Kalist is on. No one here in at this particular moment, but Pace once again very used to being the man with the most money on the Rift, and they certainly do. Big for that global taunt, still there, as it has been for so many years. As Owner just presses Cataclysm, gets himself out of it. That is going to buy as much space as they can get to try and keep this inner turret alive.
That was actually pretty critical that Yike had the Krugs there, because he was actually able to just dash out of the Cataclysm to the Krugs. Had they not been there, I think the vision that Owner had is he Cataclysms in by the tower, Faker one-shots the minions, he takes aggro, has to flash out, has to do something.
Yeah.
But instead, able to get out of there, no problem.
I've seen this play before, as Pace just goes into melee range with a Mini-Gnar, and he's happy to do so! Chases him down relentlessly, and it's kind of dead yet again.
And look at bot lane as well. Meanwhile, during all of this, Dorian was just pushing.
Yeah, the 0-5 Yorick having the best time of his life.
When you're 0-5 and you're down 3k on Yorick, you might not win a 1v1 against Gnar, but you know who you can win a 1v1 against? The tower.
Yeah, with minions. It's not really a 1v1, but he needs his friends, and he is going to be able to bring them. Faker is also doing the same thing towards the top side, and we were talking about this. 1-3-1 is definitely a possibility here for T1, and they are showing us that it absolutely is. They move to 2,000 gold in the lead, 3.5 minutes until the Hextech Soul is available for them.
And this time, Pace made it look easy killing off Kana because his culling was much better than the previous fight.
Yeah.
He was point blank, he got so much culling value, and culling just does ridiculous DPS. You know, at this stage of the game, when you have the IE and now he's working in towards that LDR, Kana will be paper. There's no one that can tank the culling whatsoever except Yike with Crescent Guard. Like, that is it. Anyone else is getting hit by that thing. You need the Crescent Guard, you need Tibbers to be blocking, you need Busio's clones. Something must be blocking this culling or you are going to just straight up die.
And or you can interrupt it, right? Interrupting it sounds like a pretty good idea as well, but there were no options there for Counter and Mini-Gnar form in order to make that one work. So Pace level 14 now on this Lucian, Infinity Edge in hand. And now just looking for even more damage as Armor Pen going to come in next.
Yeah, I mean, Kalist at least does have 3 items, so that's something working for him. You know, he is relevant. He's still way behind Pace. When you look at everyone else, 3 items is a real threat, right?
Yeah.
If he gets the hit, he will not be weak, as Dorian does have to run for the hills. But Faker also, his row just popped, so he's almost 16, and he almost has the Actualizer. And we already know that is scary times there. The Rise can start to delete teams, you know, when you hit that item spike. And then all of a sudden, you're in a position where, as KC, you must kill Pace at the start of the fight to even have a chance. But if you full send every ultimate, every flash, every ability into Pace to do it, well, Faker might just wipe you.
Yeah. And Faker, I mean, thankfully for KC as far as these team fights, Faker has decided that he wants to play A-Rat this game. He is just top lane. That's what he's doing.
All tower?
Yeah, all random, all towers, all top lane, is what I was kind of thinking. It's not really the version that I'm used to, but I do kind of like it. Faker has been playing for a long time, so he knows all of the versions. Hayes now sitting in the mid lane, and we'll be able to clear out that wave. The Baron going to be up in 17 seconds time. I believe T1 have that one on the mind, as they are T1. They always think about Baron. That is the thing. And Yike actually is going to get dashed on by Pays. The Crescent Guard comes in as they look to try and use Oner to peel, and down he will go to the GA. Yeah, who is just dead in an instant. You were mentioning the DPS on the culling, and my God, T1 are just going to mow them down. The Narn to 4 from the grave. That one was a little bit too late for Canna. And speaking of too late, it's too late for KC in this series. I think this one's over.
It's absolutely over. A 5-for-0 clean ace, 27 minutes in. T1, make no mistake about it.
10, 1, and 7 on Pays. This Lucian absolutely dominating in this game number 3, and T1 will move forward here in the play-ins and remain undefeated.
Cassiopeia to get it off. They banned the Lucian, interestingly enough, in this situation. I was wondering if a Lulu ban would end up coming out.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because I think if you deny the Lulu here, it weakens the Ambessa pick for Gen G, and Gen G need that consistent damage pick, like, for example, Yunara Lulu. But T1 always have the first pick priority here, so they could grab it for Keria. Instead, it's just going to be Ziggs. Pretty weird Ziggs angle here in a triple DPS composition.
It's kind of cool, though, because they already have an 80 carry.
Yeah. The theory is they have enough DPS, and Ziggs is very good at controlling melee short-range compositions. You have the minefield, the satchel. He's going to be hard to reach if Pays is playing it well.
And if Ona's playing it well, the pillar can be amazing in this composition.
This is so much a control comp for T1, and now Gen G have to find a way they can break that open. Sivir's going to give them movement speed as a good matchup into the Ziggs, does give them that sustained damage.
Ooh, I don't know about this.
Yeah, they go for the Jhin as well. We've seen the Jhin as follow-up when teams are diving in, and that is what Gen G needs to do, but...
I think there's too many things Jhin has to kill. He doesn't have enough bullets. You know, there's three. There's
going to be 5 champions, and he's only got 4 bullets.
I think Keen is going to be so important in this draft. Regardless of what the support ends up being here, he is going to have to do a ton of damage. He's going to actually be having to help kill those backline targets. And if he's behind, this gets so tough to play out. And they're going to go for the Camille support again. I find this draft here for T1 to be really strong and a much better read than what we saw on Friday, but it's so unusual. Speaking of unusual,
wait a second. Who's playing Jax? Who's playing Trundle?
You know, Keria has played Jax support in solo queue.
I mean, they're just doing a top lane matchup in the support role. Supportal combat has never been this brutal before. And they're going to lock in the Shen instead. This is a Keria special, and he has certainly found a lot of success on this one in the past. A different look, but the thing that this Camille gives Gen G, though, Chovy's Galio has been legendary in the past, and it's Keen's Ambessa. He's on a carry. Let's see whether they can make it work as we get onto the Rift for game 1. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1 of this best of 5. One team will go to MSI and the other will go home. That is what this one is all about.
So they got that ward down into that lane brush just above the lane, and they all stacked there, and they basically ensured that there's no ward coming in. To spot out Canyon, Fake doesn't have as much safety as well, and they're kind of set up for a gang on the back of that. Obviously, if Galio can just flash onto the Cassiopeia, at least he can be there for the follow-up.
Now, there's also another question here about lane priority in this draft, with the Cassiopeia's early levels going to smash the mid lane here, obviously into the Galio, and then the Vayne into the Ambessa favors Doran in this early game too. He's gone for the common exhaust. And down here, depending on how you play this Shen, if you can get level 2 first and you can control this lane, you can have a lot of power, but they're not doing that now.
That is a lot of damage to that 4th shot. We're looking for another one, but it's just Drew that gets the work done. First blood over to the Camille.
just not respecting the level 1 of the Camille, the Ignite, so much power on top of the stun, and Keria just gets caught out, especially the burst damage from the Jhin. Didn't have his dash available.
And the Ziggs is never going to be able to match the damage. I think you really needed level 2 if you were going to actually go into on this. Space is going to have to satchel his way out. That was a great reaction. But I think you really needed to play that very differently as T1 if you wanted to look for the early aggression. It was too soon and way too close to that level 1 Camille, as you mentioned. This is a huge lead here already for Jhin in the bottom lane.
It's starting to get tricky already. We're thinking about going for a back, but he is not going to be allowed to. As we check in towards his top side, this should be a matchup that Doran will eventually have a lot of control in. Certainly in the early levels will have a lot of control in, but it's still Ambessa, right? As Chovy, not going to have a lot of control in this one. There's a taunt though, Shadow Dash from Keria. As they pull Duro back, they look for Keria again. And now Ruler needing to grab this kill to try and equalize. He'll find it as Paze runs out of buttons and this Jhin is becoming a problem.
What feels great here is that Ruler gets the kill in this situation. Keria was the one who got the kill onto the Camille. They also commit the Ignite from Keria there and just end up trading 1 for 1. So they find the aggression, but they're not able to come out ahead. And you see here, Keria uses the Q for the shield and then has nothing left.
He's got nothing, right? And he's so far forward. There's just no escape. Even commits the flash there. Now with level 2, you can see there's a little bit more playmaking power here. Keria is able to get the taunt, which sets up the satchel, and Duro is zoned. But all the while, Ruler is free hitting onto Keria, so he has to sacrifice his life in order to get this kill. So it's not really a trade up for T1 at all, especially with where the gold went, as you mentioned, onto the Jhin.
Well, now we're having a check-in on this mid lane. You can see Chovy is about 11 CS behind. Faker having a really good time as the Cassio on this one. And he was the one that was bearing the brunt of this on the other side last time he played the matchup. And so probably very happy to be slithering around instead of being the Galio. I think Galio definitely picked more for composition rather than for lane though, so we'll see what Chovy can get done as he's able to leave that laning phase. And Canyon, I think we're going to need to have a microscope on in this game. I think that this Lee Sin needs to be so proactive when we get to, especially the mid game, but even hopefully earlier than that.
Camille sneaking around here, by the way. Great pathing from Duro.
Yeah, he is going to look to make his way in as Doran probably going to have to flash this one. There is the sweep, and he's just dead. Doesn't even use the flash, just knows that he's going to go down a 2-1-1 Camille now in this game.
Look at the vision setup that Doran had. He felt totally safe. He has so much information, but Duro's just able to skirt all of it and get over there, and he just did not expect it.
He's currently 100% every participation in this game.
I will say, good from Doran to hold the sums because you still had the hook shot from Duro. You don't know that you necessarily use it to get over the wall, so you have to be patient. If you flash and you get stunned after, you did anyway. So at least he holds on to his summoner spells.
Oh, Duro looking for that sweep. He'll get the flash out of Paze. I believe he used the satchel a little bit earlier, so didn't quite have it back off cooldown.
Gotta keep that defensive satchel into Camille.
So I'm starting to wonder, is Camille's support the strongest support in the game? Hold up.
Well, let's see whether Chovy can be strong as well. If the Justice Punch doesn't work, he goes straight into the kennel as he looks to heroically charge his way out, and he will.
But is Camille's support the strongest support in the game, or do LCK teams not know how to play into Camille's support?
I mean, we've been
playing into it for years.
I know, but
Camille support game earlier this weekend where it did not go nearly as well. So I definitely think it's a pick that has high risk, high reward. And we're seeing the high reward so far in this game.
We have a high risk as well.
Public execution, and Keen pretty happy that one missed.
10 to 3.
Yeah.
As we do have T1 trying to control the Scuttle Crab right now, but Gen G are grouped here. We're going to have a little bit of a skirmish for it potentially.
Yeah, Doran actually getting traded on here with the electric coming out of the Ambessa. Nice little tech to make sure that these short trades are deadly. Doran is still able to get this one shoved up, taking plates. Does have a little bit of CS lead. It is going to be a gold advantage over to Keen based on that assist that he was able to pick up with Keria. And they're both parked in this top lane.
Both teams are just trying to surprise the other, but they're both aware of what's going on, and so I don't think anything should eventuate from this. Doran holding onto his ult right now and the exhaust, so it's a lot of power, but his health is fairly low here, so risky to commit. I think this is not going to end up being anything. Owner is coming up right now, however, it is unseen. Wrapping around the backside here is the Ziggs is very self-sufficient without the support, but Ruler has Prio on the bottom side. Let's see if Owner can find something here.
Yeah, this both of these top laners are just trying to act. It's just a bit of an acting class towards this top side. Like, yeah, no one's here. We're just laning. It's normal. It's fine. Everyone knows everyone.
Everyone is 100% aware.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the acting is, like, you're aware that it's acting, but maybe it's good anyway. As FaZe and Ruler, like you say, just very happily farming off against one another. And this is kind of why you pick the Jhin, is to allow you to kind of equalize the amount of left alone to do what you want. And that's why I kind of like this Camille support angle. Even if it is a Jhin, it's not something we necessarily see paired alongside it as much.
Not ready yet.
Of course, the combo with the Galio.
Yeah.
Toby did have to use his ult defensively earlier. Obviously, Duro doesn't have his yet, but when that combo comes together, pretty devastating. We're seeing so much more, I feel like, this weekend since the patch hit, of just our supports abandoning lane and being super far behind in levels.
Yeah, just becoming a second jungler, effectively, and looking to, and without farming, of course, and just looking to be an extra engage button to get the lanes ahead. And when one support roams, you have to match, or you have to dive that lane, right, and look to punish the AD carry. And with the Ziggs, it's really difficult to punish him because he has so much wave clear, he has his ult. So we're just going to see the Camille, who wants to be more aggressive anyways, lead the charge, and it's just a follow here from Keria all over the map. But haven't really seen any ganks since those early ones because everyone is so hyper aware of who's missing. And right now you can see they're very aware, T1, that they cannot actually get control of this bottom side, so they look to trade Dragon for Grubs, but there is going to be some extra plate gold going over. Can they kill Keen, who has no flash here? He has his ultimate.
Well, it can be hard to outplay it, but with 3 people it might work. There's a heroic entrance as Chovy's going to join in, and that will be enough to defend their top laner. It is going to be Grubs taken here by Oner. The Dragon just secured from Canyon. And Gen G retained that slight gold advantage that was built by the bottom lane earlier on. Nothing has really changed too much. I think the stabilization has been commendable here by T1.
Oh, they're going to try again.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, see whether you can do it with the Camille there as well, as he does have the hook shot. Mega Inferno Bomb able to lock down the Ambassador, but it's 2 already on the floor. As Oner wanting to go back, they're trying to get this reset, but FaZe taking so much damage from the tower. And Duro is massive on this Camille.
This is being a pretty big fail from T1. There was a...
Oh, they're collapsing.
Oh, there's so much
Yeah,
trouble.
there's a Galio coming as well. The little Ziggs does avoid the Sonic Wave, but he walks up. And so I think that will have sealed his fate. And it's going to be a safeguard over, wanting to deny Chovy an assist, so it's going to be a solo kill over to Canyon. He'll lock that one down.
A 1 for 3 in that situation. T1, the ones making the proactive play, but they get punished massively by Gen G. And the thing is, the initial dive was prevented by Chovy, but they went back for it again to try and make it happen.
I think
and the cost is so dear.
I think the rationale behind this play is Chovy's TP'd mid. We need to make something of this. Keen's just, he's ice skating. I think the rationale is Ziggs can do better than a Jhin pushing that bottom turret because he has a short fuse. We might be able to get a lot of plate money here. If we can kill Keen, the value will be immaculate. But Keen is able to survive here, right? Duro does so much work, and eventually, yes, you get Keen on the follow-up, but the turret ramp is insane, and FaZe is a Ziggs, right? Like, he doesn't have consistent damage, he has to wait for his cooldowns. That last turret shot really seals their fate, and because it takes so long and they can't get this kill on the Duro, it gives plenty of time for, yes, the Galio teleporter, but he's coming up, he's walking up, here comes Canyon, and FaZe just doesn't have any outs.
The wave was so small as well when they went for that. It was definitely a rushed play. They're like, we need to get this kill now and get out, and just weren't able to disengage. You saw from Keria having low HP, he went in with that taunt knowing he was just dead. There was no way he was getting out. And I think the game plan was 1 for 1, but did not factor in the extended turnaround from Gen G. We do now have level 6 being hit by Keria. Duro's about to come in. Big playmaking tool for the Camille, but the ult from the Shen is so much value.
Certainly is, and Duro's sacrifice means that even Ruler is level 9. Like, everyone's level 9 on Gen G's side, outside of Duro, who hasn't quite hit Hextech Ultimatum, will now finally do so. And that is a huge cooldown that they now have access to. Keen looking for Doran, will be able to find him here. Bone Blading does go down, but now Canyon's in trouble. The Bouncing Bomb somehow misses, but the Mega Inferno Bomb is not going to. That's a bigger circle, and so the Lee Sin is going to get pushed away.
Not a lot of
Still trying to
setup.
figure something out.
And not a lot of setup for Ruler to actually try to continue anything here, even though Keen has his ultimate. He's isolated on top side, so it should just be the Scuttle control. And now they're going to look to try to cut Keen off, but he has flash and ult, so I respect the gusto from Keria and how proactive he's been here to try to get Doran ahead, but I don't think there's an angle here. And Canyon's very aware of this. He's already heading back top side. They're going to see him on the sword, and I think that's the end of that early. But Duro's here as well. You really got to be careful if you want to commit. Could backfire in a huge way, as T1 have spent so much time and so much resources trying to get this Vayne ahead, but he's 0-2.
I feel like at this point the supports have spent more time top than bot lane.
Yeah, this is the new lane swap, I think. We've just got completely different mid laners and bot laners. Okay, Duro, looking for a bit of an angle here, but we know that Keria is waiting in that brush. He comes out. The double taunt is fantastic, but the public execution is also very good. Doran goes down. It's a 1-for-1 so far, but it's support for top lane. Ona flashing away. Canyon follows. He'll find the Tempest Cripple and the double kill as the teleport comes in from downtown as Faker swoops in, and we'll be able to at least keep Keria alive.
The teleport's so late that ends up coming through for T1, not able to turn around the play, and the target selection was just better from Gen G. They take out the sustained damage off the Vayne immediately and then work through the highest priority targets. In this situation, Keria does end up getting what could have been a great taunt, but unfortunately Keen buffers it with the ultimate, so he doesn't get CC'd. He's able to catch onto the Vayne. Vayne goes down even with the Shen ultimate, and then you traded, as you said, top for support. And from then on, they just have way more damage. They focus down Ona, and then Keria there's no way he wins this.
I want to point something out that's been going on for a while here in this game. Pays has not completed his role quest, and Rulers has been done for a very long time. You look at the CS, you look at the KDA between these two top laners, but Rulers already generated 500 gold the advantage, a lot of that in his earlier completed role quest, and that is going to be something he's basically always going to have. Pays will never be able to catch up on. His role quest is still not finished, and this is becoming a larger and larger problem here for the Ziggs, that they tried to get ahead, they tried to get those plates on the top side, it didn't work out, and Pays is just not in the game state he wants to have here heading into the mid game.
And now looking for a second dragon here is Gen G. It looks like Canyon will be able to lock that one down by himself, or maybe with a little bit of help from Chovy, who's going to rotate his way up. They have a lot of deep vision, though, and I think Gen G will be able to very comfortably pick this one up for free. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Absolutely beautiful as we get a Cloud Soul. Thanks, T1. They are very reliable when it comes to Cloud Souls, and they're getting it out of the way in the very first game.
Keen hitting that one-item spike with the Eclipse is such a problem for Doran, who had this Vayne matchup and was hoping to come out successfully. 0-3-2 now, and Keen feels like such a scary threat. They're still trying to four-man top lane.
There are so many bad guys here as Doran goes in. Mega Inferno Bomb. They do manage to kill the Ambassador as Duro just has to get himself the heck out of there. Finally, mission complete. As Duro is likely to go down as well. It's a double for Faker as Chovy looking to trade this one. Ruler also getting some damage down in this mid lane. The cross map is pretty ridiculous here from Gen G.
Yeah, Gen G are going to be able to grab this first turret in return. Keen not able to ult in that fight, but almost bursts down the Vayne. Imagine if he gets that kill before dying and they get the turret, would it be absolutely insane. But T1 want to turn this into a larger turret win
This
here.
Condemned Flash was so nice from Doran. He actually messed one up earlier under tower, but nails this one. And with the Miasma follow-up, there's just nothing that King can do.
And T1 want to get this turret as part of why they want to get this play, but they're still outpaced by the pushing Galio on the bottom side. They still haven't finished this turret here top side either. So yes, you got the kills, but the gold lead hasn't changed.
Yeah. And that role quest situation that you were talking about, I can't stop looking at it now.
Look at the gold, it's
still not
50%
quite there.
higher
Exactly.
now.
It's only expanded by another 250 gold.
The more time you spend with role quest completed advantage in the bottom lane, the more that lead compounds, and you'll just never get it back as T1. You can't go back in time.
Well, Keria is able to stand in the Spirit's Refuge. That's going to help him out against Ruler here. As Duro now in a little bit of trouble. Faker moving over as the taunt set up just to try and get this Camille out. As the Rift Herald down very, very low. Secured here by the Jhin as now Keen shows up and gets so much damage. Down goes Doran, the immediate revenge for the Ambassador. The curtains were called, and it is indeed curtains for T1 in that play as the Herald goes over to Gen G as well.
Keen's ults this game have been so good. Teleports into 4.
Oh,
Baker and
Duro
Duro.
goes in. Speaking of ults, as now Chovy turns up with a gigantic taunt, and down they all go. Even Duro surviving the Mega Inferno Bomb in the end.
It's nearly an ace, and they have a Herald on the turret.
And T1's composition, one that wants to control the pace, keep them at a healthy distance, is just struggling to do so. Gen G, so crisp with these engages. Initially, Keen, his ultimates have been so good, buffering CC constantly.
And Chovy's follow-up as well in that fight is fantastic. So watch this here from Keen, TPing into the fight.
He goes to wait for him.
And they know exactly how they want to play this. Goes into the backline here, sets up a huge ultimate here from Chovy as well. His gets backline access right away. Well, guess what's happening in the backline? Ruler following up. The composition is working like a well-oiled machine. And then they catch Faker here on the side and lock him down.
Look at Chovy as well, channels the taunt, little sidestep to dodge the ultimate from the Cassiopeia.
Oh,
so
man.
beautifully played there. Those little micro movements are just textbook.
They finally got the turret though!
There we go.
It only took 17 minutes of trying.
No,
Hey, and because they got it late, they get the bounty.
That's big news.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got the bot lane roll quest.
Hey, there we go. Big celebration. And so now this 1,000 gold lead shouldn't just naturally extend over time. Unless Ruler continues to get kills.
I mean, you do get that influx of gold when you complete it.
True.
Unfortunately,
Very
Ruler
well.
picked up a bunch of gold. So, not looking great.
well, Chovy once again not going to get hit by the Petrifying Gaze. And I guess, I mean, he's already stoned. Like, he's a gargoyle. Shouldn't Petrifying Gaze not even work on a Galio?
You would think.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting how you know that meme we used to have of like all the players turn around and Faker turn the other way and they put the Cassiopeia in front?
Yeah.
Fake would always sidestep it turn away. And this game, Chovy's been putting that on display. Has also picked up the Imperial Mandate, which is on Galio an insane item. 30 ability haste on every ability but your Q is incredible value.
Yeah. Pretty ridiculous.
How well Keen has been playing and how well Gen G have been playing around Keen. It has been that Gen G have known the game plan from T1. They've been one step ahead of T1. They've matched those rotations. There has always been the Cannon's been rotating over a little bit late sometimes, but in time. And Keen's playing so incredibly well that T1's game plan just isn't working. It just isn't working at all. And now Gen G have such a lead, 4,000 gold here with a 2-dragon lead. They're looking for Soul Point as they group for this prio right now. Chovy's about to have his teleport back. Keen is resetting right now to come over. They already have the control around this bit. I think T1 are just going to have to give this up, which is so tragic, so disastrous in the game state that's already been so rough for them. They just have to sit back and give more.
Yeah, and this is going to be Soul Point, like you say, but they also miss out on their red buff. Gen G really taking control of anywhere they kind of choose to look at on this map. And it's not the game state that I was expecting. I was expecting this Ziggs draft to be able to play out this stage of the game and really take control of structures, get control of areas, utilize the trundle with the pillar and all this sort of stuff. But the way Gen G has been playing has just been so fast and loose, and hats off to Duro, man. Just completely warping the game from like 2 minutes in. And I think because this Camille got off to such a great start, it just adds an extra weapon to Gen G that T1 didn't account for in the draft.
I mean, it's been so impactful, and it's the fact that we have this game, and earlier on this weekend, we had that Camille game where it was a 1-9, and it just seemed to be dying non-stop, really struggling. It is such a feast of famine pick. You are playing on a nice edge to make success on this champion, but Duro has just been pulling it off again and again in this game. Gen G as well, would have been a Cloud Soul. I feel like there's so much value for their team. Not necessarily champions that sync up that well with the ult to get movement speed. Jhin, for example, doesn't. Oh, Ian looking for an all-in.
Yeah, Canyon is going to come down here as he does have support from Carrion. He's going to be able to pick up that kill as Canyon now has to get out a teleport in from Faker as well. A lot to make sure that Keen goes down, but they get their man.
If there was a dragon here, I think this would feel great for T1 because maybe you could turn that into something. Instead, it's going to be here an attempt to stop Chovy from getting the cross-map turret. They got the kill. That's important. That's valuable money. But this turret is so healthy. They're going to stick for it. They're going to look for more.
Yeah, Canyon is able to safeguard as the Condemn is coming down. As now Pays. He's on his satchel, but he's just going to get wiped out by Ruler. Finds the bullet, and he's able to take him out. Petrifying Gaze under two. It's Faker. Makes the flash play. And now Canyon trying to get himself out. The heroic entrance is going to allow it, but now Chovy's in the firing line, and he is just
Here comes Duro.
his way down, and Duro the hero of the hour, is looking to make his way in. Another Condemn coming on through as now Gen G find the front foot, and the teleport from Keen, as this man has been addicted to revenge this game, and he's going to find even more as Faker goes down.
Ruler's opening the
Chovy
base!
gets his man, and yeah, Ruler has never been in the team, to be honest. He's just killing turrets.
Farewell.
The side lane Jin effectively just flip
Yeah.
pushing on his own. T1 think they found a successful play, but they want more out of it, and Gen G punish them for their greed. In this situation, they turn around this play well. Keen very confident in the 1v1, but it doesn't end up being a 1v1. The exhaust comes in, the Channel comes in. The Canyon disengages. This play, though, Ziggs typically very safe, but the flash from Duro means he can't satchel to interrupt the hook shot.
He has
and once
nothing
he
he can do.
connects, he's just stuck.
Down here, they want more, right? There's a lot of greed, but there's so much control here for Duro. This ultimate buys a lot of time, and that's all they need to do is to buy time for the larger team fight to come through. And Gen G play this so incredibly well, right? They play it slow, they don't overforce, and then the TP comes through. Keen shows up after respawning here, and T1 are just outgunned, outnumbered, and the play took too long.
And this is a timer that I think T1 would have, in the past, been right on top of, you know, playing around when Keen is going to be back up again, when can he punish? And that's when we back away. It's almost like T1 playing with a little bit more desperation that we've seen otherwise. As Gen G now is Soul Point, minute and a half left on this Cloud Drake.
They are in a pretty desperate situation. This
Yeah.
series is do or die, and right now this game is not in a great spot. Gen G, 6,200 gold lead, Baron's up, Dragon's in a minute and a half. They're looking for Faker here.
Well, he does have Owner as support. And so Chovy not going to be quite as tanky as he otherwise would be, but I think they're just going to flash on it. They look for the angle onto Faker. Petrifying Gaze does connect, but Canyon still resonating strike comes in. Double knock up as the heroic entrance comes down. Justice Punch for more CC as Keen is there for the cleanup. He is going to go down as he goes a little bit too deep. The Condemn was pretty good there from Doran, but a 2-for-1 and the turret going down. Gen G still with their eyes on a potential Baron.
This draft for Gen G had to be played so well. Keen had to be able to absorb that pressure topside. They needed to be ahead. They needed to be able to snowball through this Jhin and take T1 apart constantly. But this is what it does when it's ahead, when it's firing all cylinders, when it hits all of its breakpoints. You just kind of pull them over, and Ruler fires at fish in a barrel as you lock them down. And T1 have no recourse. There is nothing they can do this far behind against the execution here of Gen G. Perhaps Keen could have played that last part a little bit slower, but ultimately, does it really matter? I think the answer is no. No, Soul Point already here. 20 seconds until that Dragon spawns for Gen G. This comp is already so strong from ahead, but with the Cloud Soul, even more potent.
Oh, with the Cloud Soul, they're just zooming, and Galio as well, being able to taunt to being faster as you do it, is just, that 15% movement speed goes so hard when you're trying to connect on the targets. They're going in for this TP. T1 want to contest this, but they're so far behind. This needs to be flawless from them.
Yep. Teleport does come in. There's a deadly flourish onto Carrier as Canyon just gets on top of him and Chovy knocks him down. Now Ona's going to need a fantastic smite, but it's Gen G that are looking for the team fight as in goes Keen. He is going to give me Petrifying Gaze though, and now able to dash his way out. Still taken down by Ona, who is doing battle in the back line. Still going to be taken. He did buy a lot of time, but Pays is still dead. The Hextech ultimatum saved for this Ziggs, and now Gen G pick up the ace, and they can do anything they want.
Duro does nearly 3,000 damage
This
in that
Camille
fight.
isn't carried.
He's doing so much work, saves the Hextech ultimatum till the end to pick up the Ziggs. But here, this pick on a Carrier, the Deadly Flourish lasts long enough for them to just go in on him. He can't taunt before he goes down. And then this flank from Duro, even though Faker gets a great ult to peel away, it's still so hard to reposition from here, and Chovy just beelines immediately for the Cassiopeia.
And they're missing the critical Shen ultimate in this fight, and the pick to kill Carrier was through really basic abilities. No expensive cooldowns were used, so it's really easy for them to follow. And they haven't broken open the base just yet, and the Dragon does go over to T1, so there's some small, very microscopic silver linings here. I just don't think it gets better from here, as Canyon can do whatever he wants, seemingly. He's got GA as well.
Yeah.
2 levels up on Owner. Like, legitimately 2 levels up.
Canyon. He's going to get hit by a Petrifying Gaze. That GA may not last very long as he does safeguard, gets the kickback onto Ona, and will keep that. Oh, never mind. Okay, still holds onto it. calculated, I guess. Chovy is now here, so the Lee Sin is going to be okay. No
That
flash, though.
was some aura farming, I guess.
Yeah.
Not necessary at all.
Oh, there is a taunt. Looks like Carrier's one is going to be working out okay, but the Winds of War do damage now. Riftmaker now done for Chovy. And even though there's a lot of support items, like kind of for Chovy, he's still doing a lot.
I think what those last 2 attempts from T1 indicated is that the damage just isn't there. The fact they couldn't even get Canyon into his GA and Chovy just seemingly not taking any damage right now.
We've talked about a split pushing Camille in the top lane, but how about a support Camille at level 11 threatening an inhibitor turret in the mid lane, and now the inhibitor.
Duro testing out his top lane career here in this game is now Oner getting taken down to about 2/3. King Tribute going to be helping him, but this is an inner turret still under fire. This siege minion is just sitting there, hitting.
He's just got hit by a bouncing grenade.
Oh, I think Canyon might be in a little bit of trouble here. Goes down to the GA. Double knock up there from the heroic entrance as Chovy should be able to save the Lee Sin, but for how long, that's the question. Great interruption with the pillar, but it's not enough to save Carrier. And you guys were talking about it this whole time. Where's the damage?
And you know what's so sad? If they've gotten the GA earlier on Canyon, that would have been that whole kill there. But unfortunately, it's now just a 5v4 as Gen G are pushing into the base. There's Duro.
Yeah, looking for the angle once again. Hextech Ultimatum is going to be thrown down onto Oner, and he is going to be taken out. No subjugation going to work this time as Canyon looking to get on over here and take down this inhibitor as well. But the top inhib is also going to fall. The base of T1 just being turned into rubble here by Gen G in game 1.
And it almost felt like they wanted to just use Canyon as a Chovy ult point. Just stand near them so I can get a good ult. And he's just been walking towards T1 and setting up these traps. You know, sure, you almost got him. You got his GA this time, but it's not worth it. There's no real win as the dust settles. T1 have been able to bring this to a nearly 30-minute game, but 2 inhibitors are down, and that dragon is going to spawn eventually. As we see this attempt to kill Canyon, but it's just Chovy following up. Look at who's also following up the Jhin, right, from Ruler. And there's no way for T1 to realistically, with the low damage they have, do anything here. The pillar is cute, but Keria dies in exchange for the GA, and the siege continues. They turn this into a double inhibitor take after all those T1 tools were burned on a GA.
And so now just focus on the bottom lane and take the dragon when it comes up.
They're just at the point where any target is easy to take down. You hex that Ultimatum with Trundle, he ults, it doesn't matter, he will just get massacred. Canyon now 3 levels above Oner on this Lee Sin.
And Ruler, Chovy, and Canyon all haven't died so far this game. Their carries have been incredibly safe. Keen and Duro just absorbing as much of the pressure as possible. It's pretty textbook here from Gen G in game number 1.
One of these mid laners has a completed Rod of Ages, but he's over a level behind the opposition here in Chovy.
Oh, man. Let's not look at that one, though, because Canyon is almost 3 full levels.
Yeah, he was a moment ago just 3 levels, you know, on the casual, like you're kind of cheating, but now we're looking at almost the full 3 XP bars.
And now it's 8 seconds until this Cloud Soul is available. Gen G will be booking it around this map, and it's an 11,000 gold lead. If ever there is a time for the T1 magic to be employed, it is right now, and they're going to need so much of it.
I'm starting to wonder if it's in game 2, actually. It might be the time.
It would be great if we had it then too. If they wanted to win game 1 though, they're going to need a lot right now.
And let's see what happens with the siege on the bottom side as they're all grouped up right now. Baker a little bit extended.
Oh, public execution will be avoided here, but the Petrifying Gaze also does nothing. And Carrier, oh no, he didn't sign up for this. Well, actually he did. He pressed on the Cassiopeia, and he's going to go down as well. That's going to really create some problems as Gen G are running so quickly, and they are looking for this last inhibitor and probably some Nexus turrets afterwards.
This should just be the game if they just keep the push up here. Triple inhibitors is a death sentence, and Gen G, this sidestep they keep getting on these Petrifying Gazes have just been insane. The microwave from them.
Oh, Q gonna get picked up here as they get back onto Pays. Canyon finds it one more time. Keen's gonna go down though, and now Doran with that ulti running, looks for the angle, gets a double kill here as Ruler's gonna be taken out for the first time this game, and Canyon gets on top of him. Down goes Doran, It was some heroics in the end, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win them this game. But maybe they won't lose just yet. As Keria, going down. Faker with a full health bar, looking pretty good. But Chovy looking to get on top of him. The taunt is not going to work. Petrifying Gaze onto just Chovy is not enough. And now it is just Oner against the world as Gen.G move in with their army of minions and look to take game one here. As, man, looks like Gen.G are hungry to defend that MSI title.
Ash makes sense. The arrow also.
I can't trade that.